Call 800-843-4202.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
News Talk 580 AM 1059 FM KMJ Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ. Cloudy and 50 at Radio City. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. The state of California's coronavirus emergency officially ends today. It was 3 years ago that Governor Gavin Newsom issued the nation's first statewide stay-at-home order, saying these words.
There's a recognition of our interdependence that requires of this moment that we direct a statewide order for people to stay at home.
The end of California's stay-at-home order will have little effect on most people. The governor already lifted most of the state's restrictions, such as those that required masks, and forced many businesses to close. President Biden announced last month the federal government will be ending its nationwide COVID-19 emergency on May 11th. Fresno police asking help to find a missing 79-year-old man. Salvatore Sanchez Sucia was last seen around 8 p.m. Monday night by Illinois and Cedar Avenues. He's 5 feet 2 inches tall, 190 pounds, with gray hair, brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a black hooded sweater and gray sweatpants. We have his photo on our Twitter feed at KMJ Now. Call Fresno Police if you see him. Whiteout conditions from the latest round of winter weather once again forces the closure of Interstate 80 from Placer County to the Nevada state line. Here's Fox 40 Sacramento reporter Rowena Shaddix.
Big rigs line the shoulder of Interstate 80 as the sign notified drivers to exit at Applegate. The road was closed in both directions all the way to the state line due to zero visibility. The National Weather Service says traveling on the mountain would be extremely dangerous to impossible. Some say it's been a good 30 years or so since heavy snow completely blanketed the freeway on both sides, making the lower elevation look more like the summit.
EPA Administrator Michael Regan was in East Palestine, Ohio today. He was speaking to residents at the site of the toxic train wreck. Fox's Alexis McAdams is there.
Lots of health concerns depending who you talk to, but residents here say some of them have nausea, some rashes, stomach aches, and they want to know how long they could have these health concerns. The head of the EPA stood right here behind me in the downtown in East Palestine and talked to those residents about their concerns, telling them they're here for the long haul and know people still have many unanswered questions. They opened up this welcome center here in the downtown where people can go in and request to have testing done both inside and outside of their homes.
A Tulare County man who moved to Montana to avoid prosecution pleads guilty to running a multi-million-dollar Valley Ponzi scheme.
From March 2014 through December 2019, 66-year-old Ray Brewer conned Valley investors by claiming he could turn cow manure into green energy. According to the Department of Justice, the Porterville man told dairy farmers in Fresno, Kern, Kings, and Tulare counties he could build anaerobic digesters on their businesses to use microorganisms to break down the waste and turn it into methane. But he fled to Montana after raking in nearly $9 million. Monday, Brewer pled guilty to wire fraud and running a fraud scheme. He'll be sentenced in June and faces up to 20 years in prison for each charge. Ruth Michaels, KMJ News.
One of the founders of a well-known Fresno area farm passes away. KMJ's Ag Director Don York reports.
Bonnie Simonian began Simonian Farms with her husband back in the 1970s. According to a news release, Bonnie helped to pioneer what's now called agritourism and was one of the first members of La Blossom Trail. She also was a strong supporter of education and even started tours of the farm and store. Bonnie Simonian passed away after a short battle with cancer. She was 74 years old. John York, KMJ News.
On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 232 points, closing at 32,656. The S&P 500 lost 12 points. NASDAQ dropped 11. Now here's Fox 26's Justin Willis with our Tuesday forecast.
Rain continues across the Central Valley through late tonight, expecting a half to a full inch of rain in Fresno. Blizzard warning continues for the High Sierra through tomorrow. 4 to 6 feet of snow there with 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts expected. Freeze warning in effect for the Valley Valley floor tomorrow night through Friday morning. Temps could get as low as 27 degrees. Otherwise, Valley afternoon highs remain well below normal in the upper 40s and low 50s. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Want to save 50% on new blinds? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's extended President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends March 1st. Blindster.com.
Experience Elton Dan and the Rocket Band, a tribute to Elton John. Elton Dan's stage presence is second to none, and his magical piano playing has a way of engaging you in the full Elton experience. Live at the Tower Theater for the Performing Arts, April 13th. Get tickets today at towertheaterfresno.org.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
2:06. It's News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Tuesday installment of your Afternoon Drive. Phone numbers here are 490-5858. Toll free, you can join me at 800-776-5858. Find the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Drive KMJ. And if you want to watch the show, you can do that on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook Live, also at Drive KMJ. We got a new buzz question waiting for you at KMJNow.com. As always, it's brought to you by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. Today, we are asking the Supreme Court will hear arguments on President Biden's student debt relief plan. How would you vote if you were on the court? Let us know what you think at KMJNow.com. Again, the Daily Buzz question is sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. And your options are simple. Keep the plan or reject the plan. And I think that, no, I don't think I know. The answer is reject the plan. I understand that student debt it's a big problem, and especially with all of the job losses and all of the wage losses and all of the income that went up in smoke over the course of the pandemic. I understand how somebody promising to wipe some of that away sounds really, really nice. It sounds really good. The original sin in this situation is not the debt. The original sin in this situation is not the hardship imposed on the majority of Americans by the pandemic and, more directly, the government's response to the pandemic. The original sin in the student loan situation is that the government inserted itself into a situation and subsidized easy access to loans for people who don't understand what compound interest is. Thank you very much, public high school. Who were able to borrow tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars for educations that may or may not have been completed, much less been useful. And because the government underwrote these loans so that basically anybody who could simply show that they were enrolled in school could have gobs and gobs of money that no conventional lender would have ever loaned them at any interest rate. Tuition went up. The cost of parking went up. The cost of higher education has ballooned and ballooned and ballooned. And make no mistake, that is entirely on the easy access to inflated sums of money subsidized by the federal student loan program. Now, that doesn't mean that we as a society don't have an interest in seeing young people who show capability, who show diligence, who show promise and opportunity at higher education. I believe very sincerely in the mission of the public school system that we should be turning out a workforce that is job ready, not career, not med school, but ready to go out and join the ranks of the working class by the time they get out of 12th grade. Logically, by extension, I think that it can be a good investment when somebody has shown that they are capable of subsidizing the cost of that education, because not everybody's got parents who can afford to foot the bill for college. And Conversely, not everybody, even sometimes kids whose parents can afford to foot the bill, actually need a college education. But we drilled it into kids' heads. You got to go to school. You got to go to college. You got to go to college. No, if you don't have a bachelor's degree, you don't have anything. Nobody wants somebody with a high school diploma. Got to get a bachelor's. Go, 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 go. Oh, yeah, no problem. You can borrow $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. Yeah, no, just sign your name here. Oh, you don't even have to start paying on that until you've been out of school for 6 months. Golly, kiddo, by then you'll be making buckets of money because you'll have a bachelor's degree. And the colleges get greedy and the administrators start seeing dollar signs. And pretty soon you've got a kid who has no aptitude for academics muddling along through a educational program that has no relationship to gainful employment on the other side, borrowing tens of thousands of dollars to get either dropped out at some point or ejected with their worthless bachelor's degree. Not to say that every bachelor's degree is worthless. They're not. But often as not, kids are coming out with degrees and educations that have no relationship, no resemblance to the practical skills that they need to function in any workplace, much less one that actually aligns with their skills and proclivities. If we made getting a loan a private proposition from the beginning, you would see the kids who have aptitude getting those loans. If you made a government subsidy, we have, for example, in this country, we have a desperate need for nurses, for physicians, for school teachers, and for cops. It's all over this country. Those four professions in particular, just off the top of my head. We need folks to do those jobs. Now, I don't think that I have the temperament to be a cop. I just don't think that I have the ability to check myself when I'm irritated to do that job to the standard that we want our cops to do that job to. Likewise, I just don't have the intellectual acumen to be a physician. The unbelievable amount of information those people have to keep in their heads and juggle if they're in any kind of clinical or hospital environment. I'm just not that smart, at least not when it comes to that kind of thing. But I just don't think I'm that smart. Could I have been a school teacher? Maybe. I think I would have been okay with like 4th or 5th graders. I think I would have been okay with high school juniors and seniors. But I don't feel the vocation. Could I have been a nurse? That might have been an okay fit. Maybe. Again, those men and women work really, really hard. But if you look around and you say, well, Mr. Teresi, you don't fit any of those. If your response to the best option is, maybe, you're not a good candidate. Thank you for your interest. Good luck in your career in IT. But Mrs. Smith over here, Mrs. Doe over here, Mr. Jones over here, they've got the aptitude, the curiosity, the drive to go out and do that. So not only are we going to loan the money, but if they complete the education and they go to the work in the field for which they have been educated, for which there is an acknowledged need, we're not going to charge them interest. Yes, they've got to repay the money that they borrowed, but we're not going to charge interest for that because there is a greater good being served. But that's not the system that we set up. We set up a system where kids who have no business in college borrow more money than they can possibly wrap their heads around the repercussions of when it's time to calculate out the interest, to either get incomplete or useless educations, to then go out and struggle. You and I as taxpayers should not be repaying these kids' loans. The people who should be repaying these kids' loans are the college administrators that treated this like manna from heaven and increased the cost of higher education, what, 6-fold, I think it's been? More than that in my lifetime. You've got administrators who never make contact with kids, or if they do, it's an absolute minimum. They don't have an influence over campus culture. They're button pushers and bean counters. They exist because they were a part of the faculty long enough to make the right friends that somebody felt justified in giving them a retirement plan, sitting in an administrative office somewhere, doing not much of anything. And they make $100,000 a year. And this is repeated on every campus and in every CSU, UC, administrative hub clear across the country. It's not just California. All of these state schools have these massive, massive administrations. The people that should be repaying these kids' loans are the people that profiteered off of it. And that, by the way, is not the professors who have been thinned out to the point of being almost non-existent. It's certainly not TAs or research assistants. It's the people making six-figure income for doing nothing. It's the people making six-figure income while doing a quarter of a real administrator's workload. Those are the people that should be repaying this. If there is any plan for student debt relief, it should be accompanied by a plan to cut all of that administrative overhead and to cut the bloat in the cost of higher education. Because otherwise, all we're doing is throwing good money after bad. And that's not the fault of the 17 or 18-year-old kid that signed off on a loan that they were not taught how to think clearly about when it was time for them to go to school to get a degree that they didn't need. But the Biden plan sucks. It bears no resemblance to appropriate consequences for the profiteering at the administrative level. It bears no resemblance to the appropriate consequences for young people making bad choices, not life-altering, horrible, you got a face tattoo choices, but just a stupid financial choice. It's free money as a campaign promise, and it should be rejected by the Supreme Court because it has nothing to do with rectifying the problem. It has everything to do with appeasing a very narrow slice of voters. That's Joe Biden trying to either buy goodwill for 2024 or Joe Biden allowing this thing to fail. And I have no idea how comprehensive or intelligent the defense of his plan is. But for him, it's a win-win because even if it fails at the Supreme Court, that Supreme Court is going to be, that decision by that Supreme Court is going to be pinned on Republicans because Donald Trump shifted the balance of the court. And so for Joe Biden, either way, he wins. The taxpayers lose if he gets his way. And if he doesn't get his way, kids who took out loans they had no business taking out, they lose. But however it cuts, either he's liked better or conservatives are hated more. Because nobody wants to hear you made a decision and that decision comes with consequences. Not in 2023. I hope the Supreme Court gives this thing due consideration and then I hope that they slap it down. But if we're going to fix this, there are so many other things that need to happen to, first of all, stop the bleeding before we even begin to talk about granting kids more free money. Bread and circuses, man. Joe Biden promised bread and circuses. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. When we get back, we'll talk a little bit about the ongoing storms, the actual literal weather stuff that's happening, warnings coming out of Merced, and a reminder both from KMJ and a couple of local television stations about how you can continue to enjoy programming while the weather does what it does in the high country. I'm Philip Teresi. This is News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month. With no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses. With the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Offer ends 3/21/23. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
Chlorinated water is for swimming, not drinking or bathing. Cities add chlorine to your water, causing dry skin and hair. A LifeSource water system is the solution to your water worries. A LifeSource system filters your water from every tap, reducing the harsh taste and feel of chlorine and giving you softer skin and hair without maintenance, no salt, filters, or servicing. Call 559-330-1850 for a free consultation or visit lifesourcewater.com. LifeSource, taste and feel the difference.
Coming up this March 25th at the Grand in downtown Fresno, Community Health Systems Founders Club invites you to experience an evening of fire and ice. This new must-attend event supports local neuroscience care and building the future Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute.
Thanks to major sponsors, Facility Designs, West Tech Systems, and Queering General.
It's not too late to become a sponsor or buy a table. Go to kmjnow.com for more information.
While everyone is resolving to get fit and ready this year, growers are getting their fields fit and ready for a great growing year. This is Christina Mousson with Gar Bennett. Healthy plants are happy plants. Whether it's pets, plants, or people, getting and staying healthy makes every day a happier day and avoids costly emergencies. Gar Bennett's PCAs and CAMs are experts at timing, treating, and delivering solutions on time and on budget. Whether you're looking for regulatory, water, or crop care solutions, one phone call delivers results. Gar Bennett's team of experts design programs that tackle and treat all your growing needs, big or small, while producing great yields and quality fruit. Stay happy and healthy. Grow with Gar Bennett, the growing experts for the best water, irrigation, nutrition, regulatory, and crop care advice and products at 800-696-6108 and online at garbennett.com. Gar Bennett, we help growers feed the world.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with AutoPay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 23.99% APR and include a 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
2:23 on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Phones are open for your calls at 490-5858. Toll free, join us at 800-776-5858. Just a minute, we'll get to the blizzard conditions and the technical consequences of that. But Lorna checking in on Twitch regarding the buzz question, which you'll find at kmjnow.com. It's sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. Today we're asking, the Supreme Court will hear arguments on President Biden's student debt relief plan. How would you vote if you were on the court? Accept the plan or reject it? And you can let us know what you think at kmjnow.com. Lorna chimes in saying, I don't get this argument that these students that knowingly borrowed money to go to school should get the government to pay their debt, when all the previous students to this day are still paying on their student loan debts and are now expected to pay using the tax money that we had to pay working in order to cover these snowflakes loans. It's not fair. Go get a second job, pay it yourself, you entitled little brats. Too much? No, Lorna, your frustration is completely reasonable. Your reaction's totally rational. It is not that I believe that we should treat the people that made a bad decision and followed the pack as though they are victims of a crime, which is kind of what the student loan relief plans are. They are treating these student loan borrowers as if though they have been defrauded and are now entitled to recompense. I think that these kids were put up to a situation that they did not fully understand, and I don't think that that's fair. I also don't think that life is fair, and I think that anybody who's telling student loan borrowers or anybody else that life is fair is doing a disservice to all of humanity. Life's not fair. Do I think that we need to continue victimizing more young people by continuing with this unsustainable model of loaning out interest-bearing money to kids who don't understand how to calculate the consequences of that interest in the service of educations that they may not complete or that may not render them capable of paying back the very money that they borrowed? Yeah, we need to fix that system. We absolutely need to fix that system. And does that mean that there are a contingent of people somewhere between, probably my oldest siblings' generation and my kids' generation that are going to get a worse deal than what, say, the baby boomers got when they were going to college, when we didn't have the government subsidized loans for literally anybody who could scrawl an X on a contract, versus what could be coming if we were to make sensible policy about only lending zero interest money to people who are going to go into careers that are going to benefit the whole of society, if the government's going to be involved in any way whatsoever to begin with. Yeah, there's still some people that are going to get screwed on this, and that sucks. And to be honest, if Joe Biden had simply said, we are no longer charging interest on student loans, I might have a little more reserved of a reaction to that. Simply, the government is not going to profit off of young people trying to get educations. I think that I would have had a very different reaction to that. But the fact of the matter is, some 18-year-old signs for a student loan without really understanding how compound interest works, that they're making their, I don't make enough money to actually pay this properly, income-driven repayment plan payments for their entire lives. And they owe more on the student loans than when they borrowed them, after a lifetime of probably having paid them back once or twice over. That doesn't make any sense. That's a rigged game. And that's not what the government should be doing, even to knucklehead 18-year-olds that think that they're going to borrow $20,000 and spend a year at Party U. The system's screwed up, and the system is benefiting people who are not thinking about the kids first. So I don't think that it's too much. I think that the people who borrowed the money got a bad deal. A bad deal isn't the same thing as being the victim of a crime. But there's other things that Joe Biden could have done. There's other things that our legislature could do. There's other things that the college system itself could do that would make more sense and that would yield a better result for literally everybody. If we're going to have taxpayer money tied up in it, shouldn't that be the bottom line? That either the vast majority of people benefit from the thing or the thing is not the purview of the government, right? Interstates, military, police, city roads, public education. If it's not going to benefit the vast majority, the government shouldn't be touching it. All right. Switching gears here. By now, you've probably noticed the FM KMJ is a little wonky right now. And the engineering team's working on it. As it turns out, those blizzard conditions, it didn't just get us. It is also messing with our news partner, KMPH Fox 26, their sister station, K-Free. And I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. First of all, if you are a cable TV or satellite television customer, you're not going to be affected because the way that KMPH and K-Free connect to those providers is different. Right now, if you want to watch Fox 26 News, you can go to kmph.com/watch. You can also use the Fox 26 mobile app to continue to enjoy the content that they offer if you're normally an over-the-air viewer. In the FM KMJ corner, you got two ways to go. 580 AM, on the air, nowhere near the mountains, loud and clear and working great. The other way is the new KMJ app. It's free in the iOS and Google Play stores, and we did get a new app. This new one is, it's so much better, you guys. So if you are noticing or feeling a lack, go check that out. If the sound quality thing, on talk radio, if the sound quality of the AM KMJ isn't ringing your bells, go check out that app. Again, Google Play or iOS store. Search for KMJ Now or 580 KMJ. News time now with Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom.
KMJ News Now.
Testimony continues in the South Carolina murder trial of lawyer Alex Murdaugh. More from Fox's Gurnell Scott.
Murdaugh's attorney, Dick Harpootlian, cross-examined state rebuttal witness Ronnie Crosby, a former Murdaugh law partner. Crosby never said straight out that Murdaugh committed murder, but he was angry about money being stolen from the firm and the deaths of the accused's wife and son after being at the scene.
I was there. I love Paul very much. I thought I knew who Alec was. I did not.
The exchange came after the defense rested. The judge will let the jury visit the scene of the murders once rebuttal witnesses are done. The defense pushed for the visit. Prosecutors say some scenery described at trial has changed since the murders. Gurnell Scott, Fox News.
The Merced Police Department announces a new interim chief. Craig Gunlock comes to Merced with 28 years of experience in law enforcement. He retired from his role as captain in Modesto. His priorities include strengthening the relationship between the department and the people it serves and working to make Modesto a safe and welcoming community. Former Merced Police Chief Thomas Cavallero announced his retirement last August. The family of Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward are putting some of their movie props and wardrobe up for auction.
An auction of hundreds of items from actors Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward will be up for grabs at Sotheby's auction house over the summer. More than 300 items from the estate of Newman, who died in 2008, and his wife of 50 years, Oscar-winning actress Joanne Woodward, will be for sale. The auction is set to take place across a series of Sotheby's sales events happening beginning in June in New York. The collection is titled The World of Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman. It'll offer objects that provide a window into both the professional and personal lives of the couple, recently chronicled in the 6-part HBO Max docuseries The Last Movie Stars. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 232 points. 232 right now at KMJ. Valley weather, cloudy, 50 at Radio City. Fox 26's Justin Willis has more of our Tuesday forecast.
Freeze warning in effect for the valley floor tomorrow night through Friday morning. Temps could get as low as 27 degrees. Meanwhile, valley afternoon highs remain well below normal in the upper 40s and low 50s, and rain continues across the Central Valley through late tonight, expecting a half to a full inch of rain in Fresno. And a blizzard warning continues for the High Sierra through tomorrow. 4 to 6 feet of snow with 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts expected. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Want to save 50% on new blinds? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's extended President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends March 1st. Blindster.com.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need when you need it the most. Call our warm line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today.
Hi, I'm Joe Holstein, president of SunPower by Quality Home Services, with an urgent message.
The local utilities are changing the solar rates and credits, and it's not in your favor. It's estimated that with this new plan, known as NEM 3, new solar customers will lose as much as 75% of the savings that solar provides. That's the bad news. The good news is there's still time to get signed up on the current plan, but you only have until April 15th. So if you've ever thought about going solar or thought about adding on to your current system, now is the time. Call today before it's too late. Solar never has been and never will be as affordable as it is right now. So act today. Visit our website at sunpowerbyqhs.com. That's sunpowerbyqhs.com. Please don't miss out and don't delay. Act today before it's too late.
Don't miss out on the savings. Go to sunpowerbyqhs.com. That's sunpowerbyqhs.com. CSLB 716208.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Find everything you love listening to on Audible. Hear celebrity memoirs, mysteries, true crime, sci-fi, and more. Audible is the home of storytelling, audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. Take advantage of huge discounts throughout the entire store. It's time to reward yourself and save big on all in-stock living room furniture, sectionals and recliners, bedroom sets, mattresses and accessories, casual or elegant dining room sets, patio furniture, and everything else. During Furniture City's President's Day sale, expect no money down, no interest, and no credit checks. It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. That's incredible. That's Furniture City.
If you see gopher or squirrel holes popping up, you can bet your problem can only worsen. Don't delay. Contact Caddyshack Rodent Services. Caddyshack's goal is to reduce the population of gopher and squirrels within the agricultural, commercial, and residential settings without the use of synthetic poisons. Having a large fleet allows Caddyshack to send out multiple machines to cover large projects promptly and efficiently. Their methods have proven to be a solid channel of controlling the population of rodents. Check it out at caddyshackrodent.com.
It's Allbritton's complete furnace revitalization.
Makes your heater blow like it's young again for just $129.
Online at allbritain.com.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day.
Philip Teresi
on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
237 News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad to have you guys along for the ride. Coming up after the top of the hour, I'm really excited about this. We are going to be talking with Katie Zenovich. She is a senior vice president with Community Medical Systems. The Bob Schmidt-Camp Family Institute is having the Fire and Ice Gala a little bit later this month. A really fantastic opportunity for our community and something that you can jump in and help out on. It's the Bob Schmidt-Camp Family Neuroscience Institute, and the Fire and Ice Gala is coming up March 25th. So we'll talk with Katie about both what the Bob Schmidt-Camp Family Neuroscience Institute seeks to do in terms of solutions for our community, but we're also going to talk about how you can be a part of the Fire and Ice Gala. Just go out, have a nice night, and support a really worthy cause. Something, and I'm going to tease this right now. I want to read it before I share it on the air. Meaning, sit down and read through it and make sense of it in my head before I share it on the air. We spent most of the last week or so dipping in and out of a story about a fight at the Bullard High School campus. And a female wrestler attacked and beat a cheerleader. And the cheerleader's mom was really unsatisfied with the answers that she got from the administration at Bullard High School. She was really frustrated by the lack of responsiveness from anybody in the administrative chain. And to compound that, when she went looking for help, she was told not to talk about it publicly because it made the school look bad. And when we reached out, and specifically when I reached out to the Fresno Unified School District, we got an absolutely jaw-dropping response, both from their chief communications officer and from the trustee for the Bullard area, a woman named Susan Woodruff. And I'm very interested to see what this young lady has to say for herself. And I'm going to share it with you guys in just a couple of minutes. But I wanted to share something that was brought to my attention in the past day or so. I am not friends with Susan Wittrup on Facebook. Now, I know that after everything that's gone on, that probably shocks every one of you to your core. So I don't see her posts, and I generally don't seek them out. But somebody took a screenshot of a post from Susan Wittrup from February 20th and passed it along to me. Most of this is the kind of response that Susan Wittrup and Bob Nelson and the chief communications officer for the Fresno Unified School District, along with campus administration, most of this is exactly the stuff that they should have said 2 weeks ago when this situation began to unfold. And I'm going to share it with you in full because I don't want to be accused of cherry picking from Ms. Wittrup's statement here. On Facebook on February 20th at 10:13 a.m., Susan wrote, "Attention Bullard parents and students. I too was appalled when I saw the video of the fight at Bullard that occurred last week. From a parent's perspective, it's even more heartbreaking, and I understand that any parent would do everything in their power to protect their child in this situation." So far, so good. We're in agreement. The hardest part about incidents like this is not being able to share specifics about student discipline. Unfortunately, it is against student privacy laws to disclose. That being said, discipline has been given both from the school level and from the Fresno Police Department. The school and the on-campus police officer acted quickly and are doing everything they can to ensure there are no further conflicts between the students. That would have been very reassuring if that is what would have been shared with the victim of this battery or her mother at any point leading up to the victim of the battery deciding to not return to a Fresno Unified School. But okay, you're saying the right thing here a week after the fact. Wittrup continues, "I will say, generally, the California Department of Education has worked very hard to make expulsion almost impossible in most situations. Ed Code asks for expulsions to be the last resort and expect that other forms of correction are used and documented before moving to an expulsion. Again, I can't speak to this specific situation due to privacy laws, but I know not seeing students expelled swiftly when fights occur is commonly the biggest frustration of parents." Now, she's absolutely right. In terms of the specific discipline for the specific students involved in this fight, they cannot talk about it. By law, in a couple of different places, they can't talk about it. And ethically and morally, they shouldn't talk about the outcomes for the specific student. I also understand that the state of California and the California Department of Education has made the path to expulsion more challenging. And they've done so for reasons that sometimes make sense and sometimes come off a little goofy. But that is not Susan Wittrup or Fresno Unified or Armin Tarigian's fault. That's coming from the California Department of Education. However, while the school may not be at liberty to pursue an expulsion for a normal mutual combat fight, this was a violent battery that was captured on video and reshared publicly. The law enforcement component of this should render the expulsion question nearly moot. But, again, the frustration with the California Department of Education is not an unreasonable point to raise. And as it should, the investigation and the determination of consequences cannot be made as a snap judgment for any of the kids involved, except maybe the idiot filming it. Ms. Wittrup continues, saying myself and the district's communications team have been promptly responding to all media inquiries. Of that, I can assure you. Oh, really? It's unfortunate when some media outlets mislead the public in a chase for more listeners. I'm going to come back to that. Finally, she closes. Safety of our students is a top priority of mine as a trustee, and I look forward to showing that from the dais at each and every board meeting. So, let's work backwards. You shouldn't just be showing it from the dais. You should be showing it in how you interact with the families in the area that you chose to serve as a trustee, and frankly, with the families across the entire district, Ms. Wittrup. Just waving your scepter from the dais is simply not adequate. Now, taking the next step back, it's unfortunate when some media outlets mislead the public in a chase for more listeners. Absolutely all of this conversation, every damn word of it, can be found in the podcast section at kmjnow.com. And I believe you can get the uncut videos off of YouTube as well. I welcome anybody to go back through anything that I have said about this story and find one syllable of untruth. Find a single word that I have said that has been misleading. Have I been angry? You're damn right I have. Have I pointed my finger at the Fresno Unified School District for crummy responses, inadequate responses? Yes, I have. I have said nothing to mislead. And to suggest that I am misleading the public in a chase for more listeners. Do you know how small Bullard High School's population is in relation to the people that I am supposed to be talking to in terms of this ridiculous 100-year-old 580 signal? It's not that Bullard isn't important. I actually consider education to be one of the most important things that we can talk about. But in terms of spending a week and a half of programming on a campus of 2,500 people, when I've got a service area that runs from Patterson and Vallejo to Bakersfield, I got people in San Luis Obispo that couldn't tell you where Bullard is if you gave them 10 minutes on Google that have been listening to me talk about this. It's not a chase for more listeners, Miss Wittrup. It is an effort to hold accountable people who are elected and who make their living on the taxpayer dime. There's way more entertaining stuff that I can talk about, way happier stuff that I can talk about. You find a single word that I have uttered that is misleading the public. And finally, myself and the district's communication team have been promptly responding to all media inquiries. Of that, I can assure you. Again, a lie. A week ago, today, I emailed Armin Tarigian, yourself, Nikki Henry, and Superintendent Nelson. I reiterated my polite request for you or one of your fellow administrators in the Bullard food chain to get your butts in here and talk about this like adults, like people who are supported by the taxpayers. And you sent me a boilerplate statement that was an improvement over your snotty blow-off from the week before. Your chief communications officer sent me an email 1 week ago today, acknowledging receipt of an email that included a list of questions that anybody taking as much money as she does from the taxpayer for her salary should have been able to answer immediately. Certainly within a day or two turnaround. I sent a follow-up email yesterday, and nobody on your team, not you, not Armin Tarigian, not Nikki Henry, and not Superintendent Bob Nelson. None of you have responded to those questions, and none of you have shown up to sit down and talk about this situation seriously and to talk about how you are going to prevent situations like this from occurring again seriously. I assure you, my audience would much, much rather have something to talk about besides how you are failing your constituents. and how you are ignoring the people who pay your salary. There are plenty of knuckleheads and grifters and villains in the world to go expend our energy on. This is about what is right and what is wrong. And you dismissing my audience and treating as if though I am chasing ratings by criticizing your dismissal of my audience. It is dishonest at best. Now, I know you had a whole list of people who endorsed you and said you were going to be God's gift to Area 7 and Fresno Unified. I'm curious if they feel the same way about you right now, because none of them have ever been so cowardly as to hide from a conversation with me. Even Councilmember Dr. Bredefeld, with whom I have had some spirited disagreements, answers my phone calls and my text messages. And if I called Gary right now and said, dude, I need you to come be on the show to talk about whatever, whether we agreed or we disagreed, he'd be Johnny on the spot. Don't walk around assuring people that you're responding to all media inquiries or that I'm off chasing clout on the back of a child getting kicked in the head. It's a disgusting response, a grotesque misrepresentation. Of course she's not going to come on the show.
This report is sponsored by Roto-Rooter. Roto-Rooter should be your first call for any plumbing or water cleanup needs. Put their 85 years of experience to work for you. Roto-Rooter is available 24/7. Call your local Roto-Rooter for a free estimate at 1-800-GET-ROTO or online at rotorooterca.com.
25, you'll need a federally accepted form of identification, like a Real ID, to fly within the United States and visit friends and extended family members on military bases. So why wait to give yourself these real benefits? Get your Real ID by starting the application online, uploading the correct documents, and make your appointment at the DMV to finish the process. By applying for a Real ID now, it's one less thing to worry about later. Visit realid.dmv.ca.gov today.
Midland Tractor in Madera has been rooted in the community for more than 50 years. Family grown and family run with a family feel. Our team works hard to provide innovative products and services that help you to stay efficient, and we're here for you even after the sale with 24/7 service, and will continue to grow with you season after season. Midland Tractor in Madera is your hometown John Deere dealer with great offers and savings on compact tractors and riding lawnmowers. Need parts? No problem. You call, we haul. Get your parts order in before 1 p.m. to get your same-day delivery at one of our 9 drop-box locations. For John Deere products, visit us today in Madera, across from the Madera Fairgrounds. Midland Tractor, equipment solutions, guaranteed. All offers are subject to availability and expire October 31st, 2023. This is Jake Leonardo, grandson of Midland Tractor.
Hey, it's me, Ray Appleton. Since 1992, I've kind of been the voice of Fresno Acura locally, and I never have seen such a dilemma as the one we just got out of with basically no inventory. Supply chain issues, semiconductor issues, but now Fresno Acura says, we have inventory. You don't have to wait on your car because it's here right now. And to accompany this new inventory, the financing is off the block great. I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up. Check it out yourself. So specifically, what does Fresno Acura have? The most popular car in their line, the MDX. I've had 3 readily available. No, wait, I've had 4. The Acura MDX is the absolute pinnacle of fashion, design, and performance. Unbelievable performance for a sport utility vehicle. And with all of this new inventory, can you imagine the previously owned cars that have been traded in to grab onto these new ones? Fresno Acura on Palm, just north of Herndon. You got to see the MDX. Rated Consumer's Best Buy 8 years in a row. Also rated a top safety pick. You can't go wrong with an MDX. I know.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-843-4202 now. I'm here with spokesman for the firm, John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call in.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here with you. We always enjoy answering the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident that was not your fault, give us a call right now. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you how much your case is potentially worth. Call 800-843-4202.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now to speak with a live agent for free. Call 800-843-4202.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
Coming up this March 25th at the Grand in downtown Fresno, Community Health Systems Founders Club invites you to experience an evening of fire and ice. This new must-attend event supports local neuroscience care and building the future Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute.
Thanks to major sponsors, Facility Designs, West Tech Systems, and Queering General.
It's not too late to become a sponsor or buy a table. Go to KMJNow.com for more information.
Vote on the Daily Buzz question at KMJNow.com. Sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Center.
Rolling up on 3 o'clock on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. If you stick around, we're going to be talking with Katie Zenovich. She is a senior vice president at Community Medical Services, and specifically she works in public engagement. She will be, Development and External Affairs. I don't want to get the title wrong. The Fire and Ice Gala is coming up. It is a fundraiser for the Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute. And this is a really, really cool event and a really great way for you to get involved very early on in a project that is going to benefit all of Central California. And I'm looking forward to talking with Katie right after the news in just a couple of minutes here. But I wanted to tell you guys, on the break, I just did a first read-through of the letter written by the aggressor, the student wrestler in the Bullard High fight video that started this entire conversation. I'm not ready to share it with you guys. And there's two reasons for that. One is I need to go through and I need to redact a couple of things in order to preserve this child's privacy, because whatever the legal lines are, morally and ethically, I believe that this kid needs to have an opportunity to learn from the mistakes that she has made and go on to live a better life. The other reason is because there's some irrelevant stuff in there. There's some personal stuff in there. There is also an absolutely heartbreaking story of a kid who, along with the child that she battered 2 weeks ago, herself has been abandoned by the Fresno Unified School District. It is shocking, and it's a hard thing to read. And I want to give it the appropriate space that it needs, and at the same time, I want to make sure that we're protecting this kid's privacy, because what is unfolding here is evidence that we've got a school district that is not serving students at all. It's disturbing. It's upsetting. As a parent, it's heartbreaking to read. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Like I said, I just need time to redact it so that it's appropriate to share publicly. But when we get back, a much more positive note as we talk with Katie Zenovich from Community Medical about the Fire and Ice Gala and the Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute. It's on the way on KMJ.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Valley Caregiver Resource Center is introducing a new idea, a matter of balance. It's simple and effective. a program designed to reduce the fear of falling and increase the activity levels of older adults who have concerns about losing balance and the injuries that follow. In multiple 2-hour sessions, this program sets realistic goals for increased activity. It promotes exercise to increase strength and balance and eliminates fall risk factors. A Matter of Balance puts confidence in your step because the fear of falling creates anxiety and contributes to the problem. A Matter of Balance is designed for older adults concerned about falls and how that restricts activities. Learn how to stop, look, and listen to your surroundings. Improve flexibility, balance, and strength. You too will see great results. For more information, call Valley Caregivers at 224-9154.
Funding provided by private donations and a grant from the Fresno Madera Area Agency on Aging.
Hey everybody, it's Philip Teresi introducing you to the local guys at CopyRabbit.com. What's CopyRabbit? That is an excellent question. We all have projects we've been putting off. CopyRabbit is here to help you with all the projects you've been putting off. Just go to CopyRabbit.com, post your project, add some photos of what you have in mind, maybe even a video and a description of the project, and you're done. It's that easy, and the best part is it's free. CopyRabbit will send your project details to professionals in the area who will look at the scope of work along with the photos that were posted and send you a quote. And CopyRabbit isn't just one kind of service. It's literally whatever you need done. Whatever you need. CopyRabbit is a one-stop shop to get your time back. KOPIRabbit.com. Whether you're a housekeeper, a mechanic, a landscaper, there are customers with job postings at CopyRabbit.com who want to meet you. KOPIRabbit.com, where people go to get things done. That's CopyRabbit.com.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 1059 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. More details about the effort to crack down on gangs after a family is massacred in Goshen. KMJ's Gabe Navarro has the latest from the Tulare County Sheriff's operation.
On January 16th, 6 people, including a 16-year-old girl and her 10-month-old baby, were gunned down execution style. Tulare County Sheriff Mike Boudreau spoke with KMJ's Broskin Musan on the Goshen massacres.
We don't stop when we just arrest the two. We go as deep as we can. Our goal here is to completely dismantle or minimally disrupt significantly the operations of these gangs. And as you can see with what we're doing, we're making very good progress with this particular gang.
The multi-agency takedown, dubbed Operation Nightmare, searched 97 homes and arrested 26 additional suspects. Gabe Navarro, KMJ News.
Madera County taking a beating during this latest winter storm. About 6,000 people still without power right now. Another 1,500 outages reported in Mariposa County, 1,300 in Fresno County. The severe weather threat continues today, with the heaviest rain likely to hit the Central Valley later this afternoon. Some areas could see 6 inches of snow, while Shaver Lake digs out of what could be 7 feet by tomorrow. Another Red Cross evacuation shelter is open at Reedley College for storm victims. This location mainly to help people still suffering without power or running water in Dunlap, Miramonte, and Squaw Valley. Since Saturday, it has cots, blankets, and a few meals. 2 other shelters offering support today and tomorrow for those across the Central Valley. One is at the Oakhurst Community Center. The other is at Mariposa Senior Center. Supreme Court hearing a case on student loan forgiveness today. Fox's Ryan Schmelz has more details from Washington.
The Biden administration arguing for its legal authority to forgive nearly $500 million in student loans that could impact about 40 million borrowers to the Supreme Court. Attorneys argue the HEROES Act of 2003 allows the administration to make changes to student loan plans in the case of a national emergency, this one being the COVID pandemic. Lawyers for the 6 GOP-led states, which include Nebraska Attorney General Mike Hilgers, argue student loan debt is an issue that falls on Congress and not the executive branch.
And ultimately, this is a protection of the power of Congress.
The court could rule on the case later this summer. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Rain continues across the Central Valley through late tonight, expecting a half to a full inch of rain in Fresno. Blizzard warning continues for the High Sierra through tomorrow. 4 to 6 feet of snow there, with 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts expected. Freeze warning in effect for the valley floor tomorrow night through Friday morning. Temps could get as low as 27 degrees. Otherwise, valley afternoon highs remain well below normal in the upper 40s and low 50s. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic, both these events are in Tulare County. Road 204, Avenue 262, there's been a collision. Injuries involved, emergency vehicles were called. And Avenue 360, Road 112, there was a collision with no injuries. A reminder, Yosemite National Park remains closed until at least tomorrow. Chains are required in most areas of the Sierra Nevada at 3,000 feet or above. 168 eastbound is closed from Aubrey Road up to Hume Lake. Seek alternate routes. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Want to save 50% on new blinds? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's extended President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends March 1st. Blindster.com.
Experience Elton Dan and the Rocket Band, a tribute to Elton John. Elton Dan's stage presence is second to none, and his magical piano playing has a way of engaging you in the full Elton experience. Live at the Tower Theater for the Performing Arts, April 13th. Get tickets today at towertheaterfresno.org.
Teresi, streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
3:05 on your afternoon drive. This is News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. My name is Philip Teresi. Glad to have you along for the ride this afternoon. Phone's open for your calls at 490-5858. Toll free, you can join us at 800-776-5858. And my guest this hour is the Senior Vice President of Development and External Affairs and the Chief Fund Development Officer with Community Medical. Her name's Katie Zenovich. Katie, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So we've got something really, really cool coming to Fresno, the Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute.
It's about time.
This is... I've got a little bit of firsthand experience with this. I've got my stepdad lost his battle with Parkinson's last year. He had some complications that had him in and out of neurologist's office for the last decade of his life. I've got another friend who he severely damaged his spinal cord in a motorcycle accident. He's okay, but that was another tale of getting triaged in Fresno and then seeking help elsewhere. And it looks like the goal here is to bring world-class neuroscience medicine right to Central California.
That's exactly it. And you've just nailed two of the big issues here. When someone has some kind of neurological ailment, whether it be Parkinson's, ALS, MS, epilepsy, these kinds of things, you get that diagnosis. It's kind of just like, where do I go? Where do I find the treatment? And most people in this area say, well, I got to go somewhere else. And so what we're doing is we're fixing that problem. People right now do not have to go elsewhere to find top care. What this aims to do, though, the Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute, it aims to bring all things neuro-related under one roof in a destination. So say it's a head trauma, say it's spinal cord injury, like you're saying. They're going to wind up probably, if it happens somewhere in California, in the central part of the state, they're going to wind up in our community regional trauma center, where it's the only trauma center in the center part of the state. So that's where they're going to go to potentially have their life saved. And then afterwards, the follow-up is a lot of neuro-related services and programs that will be in that destination of the Neuroscience Institute.
So in building something like this, I mean, there's obviously many, many facets, but the two big hurdles, if you will, one, building it, the physical institute. Have you selected a location yet? Are you able to say where that is?
Yeah, we're aiming to have it near and good proximity to the trauma center. So it's the target area is in downtown Fresno. It's just north of the North Medical Plaza, which is, adjacent to the Community Regional Medical Center. And so we have a space there that we are planning to put this building on, providing, we get enough money to fund it. We have to get the planning and design phase completed. But if all things go well, we will have this thing, shovels in the ground and have this thing started in a year or two.
The other component, or the other major component in my mind, is attracting and retaining the talent.
Yeah.
And I know that Community Medical in particular has had a really fantastic relationship with the UCSF system and the medical training that they offer.
Yeah.
Is that the first place to look, or is there one of these nationwide talent searches to find and bring in?
Good question. Actually, we have maintained an over 40-year relationship with UCSF. UCSF Fresno is the only out of San Francisco location where they train residents, and they do that here with us at Community. And that is one place to look. And they will provide data and research and clinical trials in a partnership with us in the Neuroscience Institute, just like they do with other areas and other service lines, like our Cancer Institute on the Clovis Hospital campus. But funny you should ask that, because it is a talent that is hard to find. It is a worldwide recruitment. We have a very high caliber medical director. His name is Dr. Ian Johnson, and some that know him know that he's got that magic blend. He's a really cool guy. He's really nice, but he's also a brain surgeon, a super talented scientist. But he's got the ability to be both. And he's bringing the talent here. He's working hard. When he first got here, gosh, there were like 6 doctors in the Fresno area. We are completely underserved compared to the rest of the state of California.
Oh, yeah.
And, people don't believe it's here, like I said in the beginning. So, wrong. He has now, I talked with him day before yesterday, brought 75 providers to the Fresno area. Now, when I say providers, that's doctors as well as physician assistants, physician extenders. So that would be PAs, nurse practitioners, those who can provide hands-on medical care, whether it be neurosurgery or neurology, the two different things, in downtown in Fresno. Actually, they're in all parts of Fresno right now, and that's why we really like to put them all together, because wouldn't it be nice if they were all talking to each other and under one roof and collaborating, so the patient doesn't have to go to several different places? They can go to one destination and have everything they need.
Well, and it seems to me that this is also an opportunity, because if you start to bring everybody to work together, one, you've got this wonderful opportunity for collaborative healthcare and brilliant minds bouncing off of brilliant minds. But it also seems then that you're able to give them access to bigger and better technology, because if everybody's under one roof, it suddenly makes sense to buy some of these mind-bendingly priced medical devices to make their jobs easier, but now you've got more than one guy using it.
I love your pun. Yes, I think that having the best technology, the best experts, and the best resources, programs, services, all under one roof will really create what we call a world-class institute. We aim to be the preeminent neuroscience institute on the Western coast. And that's no small feat.
No.
That's a pretty high goal. But you know what? We're set out to do it. That's what we aim to do. And the people in Fresno deserve that, because once you get that kind of diagnosis, that's when you hawk the farm and you think, I need to go somewhere else. Well, if they can turn to this here and have what they need, that will solve so many problems. And unfortunately, I'm going to ask you this. You probably know somebody who's had a stroke.
I do, yeah.
Okay, well, this is within neurosciences. A lot of people don't understand what's within neurosciences. A stroke is actually, unfortunately, super highly common here in our Central Valley. There's a high volume of people who have strokes, numbers. And so when you have a stroke, this is why I say it's about time. It's a real play on words. The time when a stroke is in your brain and not treated, the brain tissue is dying.
Yeah.
And so the 1 hour could be a difference between, somebody being permanently affected by having that stroke, or get it taken out within the hour, and then you see little to no injury from it. It's amazing.
It is a life-altering difference, and it really does come down to, can I get to somebody who knows how to help me?
Right.
Because it's not to say that the doctors and nurses working in Fresno aren't capable, but sometimes you get into a complicated situation where a specialist or specialists are going to give you a chance that somebody who doesn't focus on that region.
Right, exactly. And actually the way the physician specializes these days is neurosurgery, for example. There are so many subspecialties within neurosurgery that you're not going to have somebody who just operates on a brain, do some like very high specialized like deep brain stimulation. You're not going to do that. That, by the way, is something that would help a movement disorder like Parkinson's, and we do have an expert here who came from Stanford. So people think, oh my gosh, they're coming from places like Stanford and Mayo and the Barrow. Yes, they are. And one of the reasons is because we have such a high caliber medical director, but another good reason is the fact that we're building this and they get to be a part of it. Where in other places, they don't get to be a part of it. It's already established. They don't necessarily have the ability to grow the way that they want to grow. And perhaps there's another specialist just like them on the next block or the next block, but not here in Fresno. There's just great opportunity for them.
That it's a unique thing to get to establish a culture in something this big and this important, because as soon as this is up and running, they're going to have a line out the door. There's always going to be people who need the service.
You're right. You're absolutely right. The one I just mentioned to you, the one physician I just mentioned to you, he had one clinic and he has 24 candidates for surgery. Yeah, not everybody's a candidate.
No.
But he saw over 70 people in his clinic day, and then, but a good huge portion of them have been waiting, and unfortunately many have been either waiting or they go untreated. And so this Neuroscience Institute, and see, that's what Bob Smitkamp had a vision for. He knew that this valley was grossly underserved for these types of things, and felt that this valley deserved to have the best, just like any other major metropolitan. And so he seeded this project in 2018, and we came together and have been planning on how to create it and deliver it in world-class fashion. And now we're really close, and the way that it's going to become a reality is with the support of the community, and we're trying to gain awareness and support.
When you talk to, and on the other side of the break, we're going to get into the Fire and Ice Gala. For all the people that are hearing this and going, yes, 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 what do I do? We're going to tell you exactly how you can be a part of this. In reaching out, you said there's 70 or 75 doctors that have been approached and talked to, and to some level or to some extent or another, know that this project is on the way. There's the Fresno factors. There's that inexplicable civic inferiority complex that permeates our city. When you talk to these doctors and you talk about the potential of this, is it, well, I'll get a pilot's license so I can fly someplace interesting, or is there excitement about this?
Yeah, and there's 75 providers here now, already here. So and there's more in the pipeline. So more are coming, and people think, wow, that sounds like a lot. But I'll tell you what, when you want the subspecialists to help you with your ALS, you want them here, because the burden of driving somewhere else for 4 hours on somebody who has that, for example, it's exhausting, and it's a whole other trauma laid on top of what you've already been diagnosed with. Well, these doctors are here and they're fired up. They're excited.
So the excitement's there.
Oh yeah, they're totally excited, and I leave completely excited after meeting one or two of them, thinking I've got to tell the world. I got to get on the top of the mountain and shout what we've got here, because people don't know it. So that's why I'm happy you invited me to be here today.
That's Katie Zenovich. She is a senior vice president with Community Medical Systems, and we are going to continue to talk about the Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute, and more specifically, when we get back, how you can be a part of the launch through something called the Fire and Ice Gala. It's on the way on KMJ.
Taking a look at Tuesday afternoon traffic, the Bullard Overpass at 41 here in Fresno. There is a jumper. It's being taken care of right now, we hope. In Tulare County, Road 204, Avenue 262, a collision with injuries. Emergency vehicles were called. And Avenue 368, Road 112, a collision, no injuries reported. Yosemite National Park remains closed until tomorrow at least. Chains are required in most areas of the Sierra Nevada at 3,000 feet or above. 168 eastbound is closed from Aubrey Road up to Hume Lake. Seek alternate routes. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Attention! This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, People are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-423-4161. Vehicle Protection Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-423-4161 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-423-4161. What do you have to lose? Call 800-423-4161. Again, 800-423-4161.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month, with no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses, with the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Offer ends 3/21/23. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you can start speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español. Gracias, Babbel. Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, it's me, Ray Appleton. Since 1992, I've kind of been the voice of Fresno Acura locally, and I never have seen such a dilemma as the one we just got out of with basically no inventory. Supply chain issues, semiconductor issues, but now Fresno Acura says, we have inventory. You don't have to wait on your car because it's here right now. And to accompany this new inventory, the financing is off the block great. I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up. Check it out yourself. So specifically, what does Fresno Acura have? The most popular car in their line, the MDX. I've had 3 readily available. No, wait, I've had 4. The Acura MDX is the absolute pinnacle of fashion, design, and performance. Unbelievable performance for a sport utility vehicle. And with all of this new inventory, can you imagine the previously owned cars that have been traded in to grab onto these new ones? Fresno Acura on Palm, just north of Herndon. You got to see the MDX. Rated Consumer's Best Buy 8 years in a row. Also rated a top safety pick. You can't go wrong with an MDX. I know.
Could you use monthly payments to help meet basic needs? Like putting food on the table, paying the rent, or buying new shoes for growing feet? Find out about Supplemental Security Income. You may qualify if your income and financial resources are low and you're 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI. Produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
3:23 on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. My guest this hour is Katie Zenovich. She is a senior vice president, specifically the senior vice president of development and external affairs. She's also the chief fund development officer for Community Medical. And we've been talking about the launch of the Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute. This is a massive, massive boon to the community. And there's an opportunity, even for people like you and I who might not ever be called upon to perform brain surgery, to help out with this thing. And it starts with the Fire and Ice Gala, which is coming up at the Grand, which is one of the coolest venues in town.
It's so cool.
And this is going to be, oh, good Lord, they don't have the date on my notes.
Oh, it's March 25th. This year, March 25th at the Grand. And the Fire and Ice is going to be so hot and so cool. Different name because it's a brand new event. And it's put on by the Founders Club. The Founders Club that supports community health system. It's a group of all women volunteers who came together to spread awareness about specifically neurosciences. They've decided to do that and to raise money to support the institute. We need to raise some money in order to get it built.
So if you guys want to be a part of this, the tickets are available. You can buy your way into this party. You can also become a sponsor at this party. By the way, 1401, the Grand have the ground level. They've also got that ballroom up top. Do you know which one they're hosting this in?
Yes, both. Actually, we're using the whole place.
Oh, fantastic. I have been looking for an excuse. I used to work in that building.
Oh, it's so cool.
Decades ago, I was in there with a charity called the Central California AIDS Foundation.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And so we were on like the 6th floor. And when I would catch a break, like for lunchtime, the elevator wouldn't take you to 10. You had to have a key.
Yeah.
But if you took the elevator to 9, you could walk over to the stairwell and go all the way up. Well, this was before they'd refurbished the ballroom. So it looked like, imagine a basketball court after a flood.
Oh, no. Yeah.
It was before he put all that money into it.
It's so pretty now.
It's gorgeous, and I haven't been since they've renovated it.
Okay,
so.
the view from the top is exquisite, but we're using that space for those who've come in as sponsors, as a little VIP reception area, because it is special, and we want to thank them for investing in this project and supporting the Founders Club and what they aim to do with their Fire and Ice Gala.
So one more reason to seriously consider sponsorship, seeing something that nobody gets to go to.
Well, yes, but this event is going to be like a must-see, must-do thing.
Yeah.
Okay? It's got, of course, it's going to be in a beautiful place. It's going to have incredible decor. There's going to be live music. There's going to be a surprise performance. And I don't think anybody wants to miss that. I wish I could tell you what it is, but it's definitely worth, it's a good reason to go.
I'm going to ask her off the air if it's the apple tones.
Maybe. But we do have some, we just have a couple, few tables, like 3, I think, tables left. If anybody's interested in purchasing a table as being a table sponsor, they are $5,000 each. And remember, every single bit of our proceeds will go towards the neurosciences. And we have one major sponsor at a $25,000 level, just one left, but we've had a few come in, which is wonderful. I mean, we have Queering General, West Tech, and Facility Designs have come in at big levels, and KMJ is a big sponsor. So is KC24 and Business Journal, which we appreciate, because without all of you, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing here. And then we wouldn't be able to make it such an amazing experience for people who come. And so if anybody's interested in that, in being a sponsor or getting a ticket, like you say, they can go to fcfireandice.com right now.
FC Fire and Ice. Guys, by the way, I'll share that link on Facebook and Twitter at Drive KMJ if you didn't have a pen handy.
Might tell you a little bit about the Founders Club, if that's fine.
Please.
This group of ladies, I mean, they are just goers. And they came together. There's probably about 25, 30 of them. Came together and say, we want to support community. And they knew that this was on the horizon, and they started talking, and each one of them, somebody had a car accident, somebody's kid had a concussion, somebody else had a stroke, somebody, there were things in their families, and aneurysm, that's another big bad thing in our valley. And so they all could relate to why this should be here. And so they took it up as their project, and boy, in 1 year we said, let's set a high goal, and they have just about surpassed their goal of $500,000 raised without even getting into this event yet. So think about it. Neurosciences, and you talked about technology, it's expensive.
Yeah.
everything in the neuro-related field is expensive. When somebody's operating on your brain or your spine, I'm okay with that. You want it to be the best.
Yes, I'd like the Cadillac plan if you're going to dig around in my head.
But those big chunks will really help us bring this about and get the best.
So this is just an opportunity for anybody who's interested in a good time. This is a good opportunity for anybody who's interested in being a part of the jumping off along with the Founders Club on this. There's also going to be folks out there that are hearing about this that, they're going to show up to the Fire and Ice Gala and they'll absolutely enjoy the evening. But there's going to be people who maybe they lost a loved one, maybe they themselves have been fighting with neurological issues. If folks are interested in making donations outside of the context of this, what's the best way for them to reach out to start to make those arrangements?
Okay. We have, in addition to the fcfireandice.com, where if they wanted to get information on the event specifically, they could go there and they can also sponsor it. But if they wanted to go to communitymedical.org/give, then there's a whole list, like a menu if you want to choose from the menu, and go to the neurosciences or go to Give Now. There's a place there where anybody, any contribution would be welcome, and it would go 100% directly. It doesn't go anywhere else. It goes directly to where you designate. So even $5 will go exactly where you want it to go.
Now, I know that there's folks who are going to show up and they're going to sponsor and they're going to be a part of the evening, and that's awesome. And I'm always glad to see those folks come out. There's also folks who are going to want to do something big and do it quietly. And I'm always fascinated by these people. That's the only time I ever envy wealth is when somebody gets to drop an oh my God check off.
Yeah. Well,
this is a real opportunity for somebody who wants to drop off an oh my God check to do something that is going to immediately and objectively promote good for the Valley.
Right. It'll really move the needle. I hear what you're saying. So the Fire and Ice Gala is kind of a kickoff, if you will. Yeah. It's a create awareness, get folks engaged, bring the community together, and we're going to tell the stories of some folks in the Valley who have needed and hopefully succeeded with whatever their neurological issues are. But also, what we're doing is we're kicking off a fundraising campaign, a capital campaign that's at a much larger scale to construct the Bob Smith Camp Family Neuroscience Institute in downtown Fresno. It's going to be a 4-story building, and like I said in the earlier segment, it's going to contain just about everything needed for someone with neurological disorders or injuries, and it's going to be about $65 million at this point. That's going to take some big oh my God moments from several generous people, but we've had some too. And the beauty of our valley and the beauty of a lot of the people who live here is that those who get it or understand. We have some who have stepped up in big, huge ways with big, huge chunks, and those chunks move the needle, or they I'll say, start helping with the cornerstones of the building, and they don't want one stitch of recognition.
Yeah.
They bless their hearts. They know what they're doing. They know the need is here, and they know that they're going to be able to point to it later and say, look what I was able to help do and change the complexion of the Central Valley for neurological care forever and for the generations to come. It's saving lives.
If you want to be a part of the Fire and Ice Gala, it is Saturday, March 25th. It starts at 6 p.m. at the Grand 1401. You can get your tickets at fcfireandice.com, and I will share that link so that you guys can find your way and decide at what level you want to get started on this. Katie, I really appreciate you coming in and telling us about it.
Thank you, Philip. So appreciate you and KMJ for having us and sponsoring this. Thank you.
That's Katie Zenovich with Community Medical. If you want to know more about the Bob Smith Camp Family Neuroscience Institute or the Gala, look for the links at kmjnow.com.
KMJ News Now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Teen girl fighting to survive after being shot in Orange Cove. Police say she was the victim of a drive-by Saturday night, possibly gang-related. She was sitting in her car talking to her boyfriend, standing outside when someone rode up and opened fire. It all went down to 8th and J Streets, just a block from Sheridan Elementary School. The girl remains in critical condition. Please urge anyone with information to come forward. Suspected DUI driver facing hit-and-run charges of a Clovis officer. Police say the 54-year-old came upon a crash scene near Willow and Gettysburg early Sunday morning, but ignored the cones and drove right through the intersection. That's where an officer was parked with his emergency lights flashing. Suspect accused of hitting the back of his car and taking off. He was eventually stopped a block away by another officer. Days of storms are leaving local Southern California officials concerned about mudslides as snowfall continues in the northern part of the state. Fox Weather's Max Gordon has more.
Here in the hills of Los Angeles, a mudslide forced evacuations after the backyard of a home gave way. No injuries have been reported and no one was trapped because of the slide. The slide has also closed down a section of the iconic Mulholland Drive, and it's unclear how long it'll take before the road is opened back up. More rain is on the way, and while it's not expected to come down as hard as in recent days here in SoCal, emergency officials say they're monitoring the situation. Meanwhile, heavy snow continues to pound California's mountains. Interstate 80, which runs from Sacramento to Reno, has been shut down, and numerous other roads are also closed at this time. Snowfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour are expected for the Sierra Nevada and Southern California ranges through Wednesday. Max Gordon, Fox Weather.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Rain continues across the Central Valley through late tonight, expecting a half to a full inch of rain in Fresno. Blizzard warning continues for the High Sierra through tomorrow. 4 to 6 feet of snow there, with 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts expected. Freeze warning in effect for the valley floor tomorrow night through Friday morning. Temps could get as low as 27 degrees. Otherwise, valley afternoon highs remain well below normal in the upper 40s and low 50s. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Taking a look at traffic in Tulare County, a couple of incidents. Road 204, Avenue 262. There has been an injury collision. Emergency vehicles arrived at the scene recently. Avenue 368, Road 112, a collision with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Want to save 50% on new blinds? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's extended President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends March 1st. Blindster.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Is the cost of medication stopping you from getting ED treatment? At forhims.com/radio, you can get access to trusted, effective ED treatments for 95% off the typical price. Through HIMS, a licensed medical provider can prescribe the generic versions of Viagra, Cialis, and other name brand ED treatments at up to 95% off. Trusted ED treatments for a fraction of the price. Simple, affordable, totally online access to ED treatment with no insurance required starts at forhims.com/radio. No more doctor's offices, no more copays, and no more trips to the pharmacy. If prescribed, your order ships directly to you for free in discreet packaging. ED treatment that's 95% less expensive so you can get back to feeling 100% like yourself. Start your free visit today at forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free visit. forhims.com/radio.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
And paid for by Linear Marketing Group. Are you drowning in debt? Are you struggling to make minimum payments? Did you know that on average, a household with at least one credit card struggles with over $17,000 in credit card debt? If this sounds like you, know that it's not your fault. Credit card debt happens to good people. Credit card companies lure you in with low introductory rates and low minimum payments. Before you know it, you're in over your head. We've helped thousands of good people just like you become debt-free with our Debt Reset program that will dramatically reduce your debt down to a fraction of what you owe. Our Debt Reset program is customized to get you debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months with one low monthly payment. If you owe over $10,000 in credit card debt or even personal loans, call 800-597-2344 now. There are no upfront fees or out-of-pocket expenses. You don't pay a dime until we succeed. Call now to see how the Debt Reset program can work for you. 800-597-2344. That's 800-597-2344. Again, 800-597-2344.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Printed Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where your prints are perfect guaranteed.
Teresi, streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
Roll to the 3 o'clock hour at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Want to thank Katie Zenovich from Community Medical again for coming in to talk about the Bob Smith-Camp Family Neuroscience Institute and the Fire and Ice Gala. That's coming up March 25th, and you can be a part of that. Desiree checking in on the chat here at Facebook Live at Drive KMJ. She is a proud Founders Club member, and she says it's not an event you want to miss. She shares the link, fcfireandice.com, which I've also shared on Facebook and Twitter at Drive KMJ for you. She says there's going to be a ton of amazing auction items. There's apparently going to be a Clovis Police Department SWAT experience. I've been on a couple of ride-alongs. I would not mind going out and doing a day of training with the SWAT team. Just one, though, because I'm going to be sucking wind at the end of the day. Also, I told you guys I was going to ask Katie what the surprise entertainment was. And I did. And she told me. And I can't tell you because I would be ruining an absolutely incredible surprise. Suffice to say, that alone would be worth the price of admission. And that's all I can tell you. It's all I can say. If you want to be a part of this night, go to fcfireandice.com. We've also got the link at kmjnow.com. I also just shared it on Facebook and Twitter at Drive KMJ. Go check it out. Get some tickets. If you're in the position to do it, sponsor this thing. You want your name on this. You want your name on this. And the surprise entertainment? Gave me chills, man. fcfireandice.com. All right. The United States Marshals Service has been hit with a major hack. The terminology that they used was a ransomware data exfiltration event. Make anybody else just a little nervous to hear those words? I don't know what your company's been doing about information security and barring the door against the inevitable attempt by ransomware hackers to get after your stuff. Anybody else just a little tight when you hear that? So the Marshal Service discovered this data exfiltration event affecting a standalone United States Marshal Service system on February 17th. They pulled the plug, got it off the network, and began a forensic investigation. The officials investigating determined that it does constitute a major incident and the investigation is ongoing. A senior law enforcement official familiar with the incident says that the breach did not involve the witness security program, what you and I would usually call the witness protection program. The official was clear that no one in the witness protection program is in danger because of the breach. So if you're one of those mobsters who turn state's evidence and you're listening out on the Central Coast, don't worry, they didn't get your stuff. But the incident is significant. They say it's affecting law enforcement sensitive information pertaining to the subjects of ongoing investigations. Now, the agency's been able to put together a workaround, so they're going to be able to continue to conduct their investigations, and they're working to mitigate any potential risks as a result of the incident. I think that there's two things to take away from this. One is anything that's connected to the internet is hackable. Anything connected to the internet is hackable. If the United States Marshal Service got hacked and specifically got hit with ransomware and data exfiltration, which is, if you're not familiar with the latest iteration of these ransomware attacks, once they get into your system, it is not just that they lock you down. It is that they make copies of your data with the threat of not only not letting you have your system back, but with giving your data to the entire world, or at least those that have access to the dark web. It's bad enough when that happens to a retailer. Somebody hits, let's pick on T-Mobile. They had one not too long ago. Somebody hits T-Mobile and they get account numbers and customer names and addresses, and maybe they get payment information or identifiable information, home addresses, that kind of thing. And T-Mobile does what they can to try and stop the bleeding, but inevitably, some of their customers' information ends up getting posted. And so what does T-Mobile do? They go out and they pay for identity monitoring and credit monitoring services. And that's unfortunately about as good as it gets. Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Well, when it happens to T-Mobile, when it happens to Target, when it happens to AT&T, when it happens to Walmart, you and I have gotten so used to this abuse that we all just kind of shrug and go, oh, well, this is what happens. When it happens to the Marshal Service, you start compromising investigations. And it's not that I'm worried about some dirtbag's date of birth getting out on the internet. I mean, look, until they're proven guilty of a crime, they're just the subject of an investigation. They've got as much a right to privacy as anybody else. But that's not the part that I'm weeping for. The part that I'm concerned about is if the dirtbag finds out they're being investigated, if there's a confidential informant, if there's somebody who's been supplying information, if you've got an undercover officer. There are myriad ways that this screws up investigations and places law enforcement at risk. This is bad news. I'm glad the Marshal Service got out in front of it and announced it. I'm curious to learn if, because of the extreme nature of the information gathered up in this one, if we see a different tack on investigating or pursuing the perpetrators. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Online, you'll find us at kmjnow.com.
And taking a look at traffic, earlier this afternoon at the Bullet Overpass, there was a jumper. We believe that problem has been taken care of by now. Tulare County, Road 204, Avenue 262. There was a collision and injuries were involved. Emergency vehicles went on scene. Cleanup is going on at Avenue 368 and Road 112 in Tulare County after a collision with no injuries. Yosemite National Park remains closed until tomorrow at least. Chains are required in most areas of the Sierra Nevada at 3,000 feet or above. 168 eastbound is closed from Auberry Road up to Hume Lake. Seek alternate routes. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Printed Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where your prints are perfect guaranteed.
Find inspiration at the 37th Annual Fresno Home and Garden Show, March 3rd through 5th at the Fresno Fairgrounds. While there, be sure to visit one of our special exhibitors, Raven Custom Homes.
Thinking about building a home? Think Raven Custom Homes. I'm Corbin Raven, second-generation builder. I was born into construction and took over from Dad 23 years ago. I know custom construction, and we do everything. Need site development? No power? No pad? No problem. We also draw plans, or we're happy to use yours. And of course, we'll connect you with financing. Start the process at ravencustomhomes.com and hit the contact button. Quotes are free. And yes, we do go to the mountains. Raven Custom Homes, building family homes worth raving about.
And be sure to visit Raven Custom Homes at the 37th Annual Fresno Home and Garden Show, March 3rd through 5th at the Fresno Fairgrounds. Info at fresnoshows.com.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-793-1525 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-793-1525. That's 800-793-1525. Again, 800-793-1525.
Ad paid for by Montreal Drugstore. Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. PowerPill allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $2 per pill? Call today and get 50 Viagra pills for only $99. This could cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us if you want Viagra at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $2 per pill. Call us today to save up to $500 and get 50 pills for just $99. PowerPill is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now at 800-204-0017. Call 800-204-0017. That's 800-204-0017. Again, 800-204-0017. 800-204-0017.
Attention! This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-423-4161. Vehicle Protection Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-423-4161 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-423-4161. What do you have to lose? Call 800-423-4161. Again, 800-423-4161.
Start your morning with news and the truth. Fresno's Morning News, 6 to 9 a.m. on KMJ and streaming at KMJNow.com.
Rolling up on 4 o'clock on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. This is News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Online, you'll find us at KMJNow.com. And If you're struggling with the 105.9 FM signal, it ain't you and it ain't your radio. It's that storm up in the mountains, and two ways to go to deal with it today. Old school, 580 AM. We sound pretty much the same because it's talk radio. 580 AM. Or get the new app. You can head to the Google Play or iOS stores, search for KMJ Now or 580 KMJ, either way. Grab it, download it, install it. It is head and shoulders above what we were doing before, which is exactly why we have a new app, and not a moment too soon, as it turns out. We're working on the FM transmitter as much as can be worked on right now, but with the conditions up in the hills, for now, join us on 580 or on the app, and FM will be back to full power as soon as Mother Nature stops beating the hell out of the metal pole projecting into the sky from which we broadcast our signal. I'm fascinated by this reparations story. Here in California, a state that was established, that was founded, that was joined to the Union as a free state. In the city of San Francisco, where there's a super sketchy history with how we treated Chinese immigrants, and not to mention how we treated Native Americans, a tremendous amount of energy is being put into this reparations panel, focusing specifically on African-American reparations. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that racism never happened or that black people were never mistreated in California or in San Francisco. That is not what I am saying. However, there are at least two other identifiable groups in that specific region that I would think have to be standing back a little bit and going, hey, how about us? The San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee unveiled its reparations back in January, making the argument that the city owed compensation to black residents for decades of discrimination. The committee's chair, a consultant by the name of Eric McDowell, now says that that $5 million number came as the result of a, quote, journey rather than a math formula. McDonald, talking to the Washington Post, said, quote, there wasn't a math formula. It was a journey for the committee towards what could represent a significant enough investment in families to put them on this path to economic well-being, growth, and vitality that chattel slavery and all the policies that flowed from it destroyed. Now, again, I am not for a moment pretending that slavery didn't happen. I'm not even going to be one of those people that makes the intellectually dishonest argument that slavery doesn't continue to have repercussions in society. You didn't have a math formula? The $5 million came as the result of a journey? Friends and neighbors, I spent a lot of my childhood in the Bay Area, and a lot of that in San Francisco. $5 million is not, that's not parity. And I'm not surprised there was no math formula, but the bald-faced admission, we just kind of came up with a number that, felt good. We'll do a little bit more on this, including the reaction of some of the San Francisco supervisors to a number that, even for San Francisco, is big. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
This is Christina Musan. Solar Negotiators is a household name here in the Central Valley for residential installation. They've got great service, the very best pricing, and options no other company can offer. But did you know they help more than just homeowners? If you've considered solar for your small business or nonprofit, Solar Negotiators can likely save you up to 15% on installation costs. And their maintenance packages keep your business saving long into the future. How do I know this? My family's business, Gar Bennett, went through Solar Negotiators in 2015. Since the system was installed, outstanding service by performing inspections, panel cleaning, and active monitoring regularly. Invest in your businesses now and for the long term. Call Solar Negotiators, powered by Solar Maintenance Pros, at 844-OWN-SOLAR. That's 844-OWN-SOLAR. Or visit solarnegotiators.com.
CSLB 1021919.
Is your well almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit StricklandWellDrilling.com. Whether it's the soft sandy soils of the west, the clay and cobble of the east, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today at 352-7228. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit StricklandWellDrilling.com.
Hey, it's me, Ray Appleton. Since 1992, I've kind of been the voice of Fresno Acura locally, and I never have seen such a dilemma as the one we just got out of with basically no inventory. Supply chain issues, semiconductor issues, but now Fresno Acura says, we have inventory. You don't have to wait on your car because it's here right now. And to accompany this new inventory, the financing is off the block great. I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up. Check it out yourself. So specifically, what does Fresno Acura have? The most popular car in their line, the MDX. I've had 3 readily available. No, wait, I've had 4. The Acura MDX is the absolute pinnacle of fashion, design, and performance. Unbelievable performance for a sport utility vehicle. And with all of this new inventory, can you imagine the previously owned cars that have been traded in to grab onto these new ones? Fresno Acura on Palm, just north of Herndon. You got to see the MDX. Rated Consumer's Best Buy 8 years in a row. Also rated a top safety pick. You can't go wrong with an MDX. I know.
Experience Elton Dan and the Rocket Band, a tribute to Elton John. Elton Dan's stage presence is second to none, and his magical piano playing has a way of engaging you in the full Elton experience. Live at the Tower Theater for the Performing Arts, April 13th. Get tickets today at towertheaterfresno.org.
News Talk, 580 AM, 1059 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ. It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Fresno police turning to the community for help today in finding a missing elderly man. According to police, 79-year-old Salvador Sanchez Sucia was last seen last night near Cedar and Illinois Avenues. Sucia is believed to be 5 feet 2 inches tall and weighs about 190 pounds, has brown eyes with gray hair. He was also wearing gray sweatpants and a black hooded sweater. Anyone with information, you can contact Fresno police. Another Red Cross evacuation shelter is open at Reed League College for storm victims. This location mainly to help people still suffering without power or running water in Dunlap, Miramonte, and Squaw Valley since Saturday. It has cots, blankets, and a few meals. 2 other shelters offering support today and tomorrow for those across the Central Valley. One is at Oakhurst Community Center, the other at Mariposa Senior Center. Fresno's newest co-working space holds its grand opening today.
2, 3. Cut.
Slow down in Merced. That's the plea from police as a new report shows officers responded to 209 crashes last year, all caused by speeding drivers. Of that number, 101 of the wrecks involved at least one person being hurt, and in one case, someone lost their life. Police say being a driver is a huge responsibility, and they're asking everyone to be safer on the road and follow the speed limits. Members of Congress meeting to discuss the influx of drugs at the U.S. southern border. Fox's Asa Hajni has the story from Capitol Hill.
This is the latest in a series of GOP-led border hearings that are really examining the job that DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has done or not done, quite frankly, as House Republicans are building their case here to launch perhaps an impeachment inquiry against Mayorkas. Now, today, Democrats tried very hard to shift the blame away from Mayorkas and the Biden administration, instead trying to fix the immigration system. They said they wanted to do that, and they also admonished China.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Rain continues across the Central Valley through late tonight, expecting a half to a full inch of rain in Fresno. Blizzard warning continues for the High Sierra through tomorrow. 4 to 6 feet of snow there with 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts expected. Freeze warning in effect for the valley floor tomorrow night through Friday morning. Temps could get as low as 27 degrees. Otherwise, valley afternoon highs remain well below normal in the upper 40s and low 50s. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic in Fresno, Shaw and North Fresno Street, there's been a collision, no injuries involved there. In Madera County, Avenue 9, Road 36, a collision, unknown injuries. A reminder that Yosemite National Park remains closed until at least tomorrow. Chains are required in most areas of the Sierra Nevada at 3,000 feet or above. 168 eastbound is closed from Aubrey Road up to Hume Lake. Seek alternate routes. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
I listen to you guys. I steal all your information and just share it with my friends.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
4:05 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 on 105.9 KMJ. Online, you'll find us at KMJNow.com. Phone's open for your calls, 490-5858. Toll free, you can join me at 800-776-5858. Just a minute more on this reparations thing. I want to be really clear. I am not somebody who needs to pretend that racism is gone. Racism is not gone. It is unfortunately alive and well across, honestly, I think most of society. I mean, if we're being really serious about this, I think that, well, first of all, I think that everybody's a little bit racist. And we've certainly beat that drum. And I stand by it. Everyone's a little bit racist. In terms of like institutional systemic racism, I think it's necessary to hold two thoughts in your head at the same time here. The first, and truthfully the most important, is how far we have come and how much better we are doing today in the United States of America in 2023 than we have done as a species in our entire history. We're not perfect. We are not. And I am not certain that it is in the nature of humanity to ever be perfect when we talk about racism and bigotry and the awareness of differences. I believe that we evolved, that there is an anthropological underpinning to racism and to bias that is a part of human nature. Human, not white nature, not black nature, not brown nature, human nature. We are wired. We evolved to notice differences. And noticing differences and acknowledging differences is not evil. It's perfectly natural, and it's actually one of the things that makes this country so cool, such a great place to live. I mean, anywhere else in the world, and I know that American culture has sloughed off everywhere, and I know that there's a grievance with that. Rammstein has a great song about it. If you're ever in the mood, look up the English translation for America with a K. It is a brilliant East German, that's right, East German, as in you grew up under communism, East German critique of Mickey Mouse being inescapable. We've got this incredible melting pot. We have a smarter, more diverse, more imaginative and ingenuitive society than any other that has existed in the history of mankind. Socially, artistically, academically, it's in all facets, that diversity has always become our strength. So I think that pretending that difference doesn't exist is wrong. I think it's myopic. Acknowledging difference and using difference as an excuse to hold somebody back or hold somebody down are two very different things. And unfortunately, there are people historically and presently that will hold other people down because of those differences, hold other people back because of those differences, not want to engage with other people because of those differences. And that sucks. But it's human. And today, right now, in 2023, in the United States of America, and especially in the state of California, we are doing better than we have ever done. Is there still some distance to go? Absolutely. Hell yeah. But we are doing better than we have ever done. I'm not sure that I am ever going to be totally on board with reparations, especially in the way that they have been proposed by the folks on the left. And this is where you start getting into this catastrophic, far left fringe, out of their minds, whiteness is toxicity, masculinity is toxicity. The system must be torn down so it can be rebuilt in, oh, wait, the image of the people who don't like the current system because they're not on top. But my knee jerk when I hear about reparations is not, no, nothing's wrong. No, there's still stuff that's not right. I'm just not sure that reparations, the way that they're talking about it in San Francisco, makes any damn sense. So, San Francisco City Supervisor Hillary Ronen is amongst several people on the Board of Supervisors who says that the $5 million payment proposed not because of a mathematic formula, but because of a journey by the Reparations Committee. First of all, not all of these cities, 50,000 black residents, would qualify for that. However, the expense would be, as it's put here, untenable. Quote, I wish we had this kind of money in San Francisco's general fund, but if we want to maintain the services that exist today, we do not. That's a quote from Supervisor Ronen to the San Francisco Chronicle in February. Another official, Supervisor Shaman Walton, told the Cron that some San Franciscans had suggested using, oh boy, I'm not making this up. This isn't me being cheeky. Some San Franciscans had suggested using revenue brought in by selling weed to help fund reparations. Yep, somebody said that out loud. That tax, which had been suspended for years and was recommended for another suspension through 2025, wouldn't even come close to covering it. San Francisco Standard reports that according to the city budget office, that tax only raises about $10.25 million annually. The other thing that the proposal called for was debt forgiveness. So to be eligible for the proposed program, you would have to be 18 years old. You would have to have been identified as black or African American on public documents for at least 10 years. Oh my God, is that they're going to let transracial people in? I'm not talking about mixed race people. I'm talking about Rachel Dolezal people. People that are white as I am, putting on blackface, for lack of a more sensitive term, and living their life with the trappings of blackness while not in fact having a drop of African American blood in their bodies. If we're going to do reparations, it's a big if for me. It's a big if. But if we're going to do reparations, line item 1, you actually have to be the thing that we're paying reparations to. You can't have identified as it. You have to be it. Period. If we are going to pay reparations to Black Americans because of slavery, you have to be Black. And I'm not even doing this parsing of you've got to be whatever the lines are for qualification to be like a tribal member. You've got to be Black. You can be a quarter Black. You can be a 16th Black. I'm fine defining things along those lines. I did 23andMe. I'm comfortable telling you guys this. I'm 99.7% Northwestern European. In other words, I'm white. I am lily white. I am English. I am Irish. I am Scottish. I'm a little German, Scandinavian. There's some Finn in there, which surprised everybody. I'm whitey white. No matter how I dress, no matter how I talk, no matter what kind of music I listen to, I'm not ever going to be Black or Chinese or Native American. If somebody whose genetic makeup looks like mine goes and applies for one of these checks and gets it, the whole system's it's nuts. The whole system's wrong. You're Black or you're not. If you're identifying as a thing, you don't get reparations. This is how nuts they are. This is how crazy they are. They say that these folks must also prove at least 2 of 8 additional criteria. So if you want to get a check from the city of San Francisco, you have to prove that you were born in the city between 1940 and 1996, and that you've got proof of residency in the city for at least 13 years, and or you are personally or are the direct descendant of someone incarcerated by the failed war on drugs. Again, I am not a hard no on serious, thoughtful conversation about some form of reparations for African Americans or Black Americans or whatever the appropriate nomenclature would be here. I am not horrified by the notion that we talk about that for all of the marginalized groups. I will say that when you start inflating the tent to that size, I would say almost everybody in America who's not like a Mayflower family with ties to the throne is probably eventually going to turn up as being at least partially eligible for one of these programs, because we are a melting pot, which means that we've been melting together for 250 years. This has nothing to do with setting things right for the descendants of slaves. This is just writing checks to folks who are stylishly marginalized in a way that appeals to the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee, a group that came up with total debt forgiveness plus a check for $5 million. Even in a city that expensive, that still puts you over the line into being a wealthy person, not just whole, but wealthy. And there was no math formula. It was the result of a journey. I know that we can do better, and we're doing better than this group of people wants to acknowledge. We're doing better than Democrats in general want to acknowledge. At the absolute minimum, if we're talking about slavery reparations, can we just agree that the person has to actually be descended from some group that was enslaved and doesn't just identify like Rachel Dolezal? It's a fascinating insight to just how Looney Tunes San Francisco's gotten. It's the Afternoon Drive. News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
And this traffic report is sponsored by Evans Feed. Shaw and North Fresno Street, there's been a collision, no injuries. In Madera County, Avenue 9, Road 36, a collision with unknown injuries. And at Adams Avenue, the off-ramp there in Fowler, to northbound 99, or actually from northbound 99. There's been a collision with no injuries. Yosemite National Park remains closed until tomorrow at least. Chains are required in most areas of the Sierra Nevada above 3,000 feet. 168 eastbound is closed from Aubrey Road up to Hume Lake. Seek alternate routes. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Test it to see what you've got. Is it COVID or is it not? Treat it. Ask for medication. Decrease risk of complications. Beat it. That's a 1, 2, 3 to stop COVID from multiplying. Isolate so you don't repeat it. Test it, treat it, you can beat it.
Yeah. Visit youcanbeatit.org or call 833-422-4255 to ask for medication to treat COVID-19. Sponsored by the California Department of Public Health.
It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. Take advantage of huge discounts throughout the entire store. It's time to reward yourself and save big on all in-stock living room furniture, sectionals and recliners, bedroom sets, mattresses and accessories, casual or elegant dining room sets, patio furniture, and everything else. During Furniture City's President's Day sale, expect no money down, no interest, and no credit checks. It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. That's incredible. That's Furniture City.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp data bank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Has the stock market slumps and instability this year got you concerned? Would you like a way that could protect your retirement when the markets are down? Gold Alliance would like to give you 2 free reports, the Inflation Survival Plan and the Stock Market Correction Plan. Both reveal how to protect your savings in uncertain times. It's absolutely free. Don't wait. Call 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 23.99% APR and include a 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Hi, I'm Lorna Roush. My family farms pistachios in Fresno County, but I'm also a mom and a grandma, and I want to share a shocking fact with you. Pistachios are a superfood. They're high in antioxidant activity, which means they're health protective and support a strong immune system. But you don't have to tell the kids. Just put out a big bowl of pistachios and watch them disappear. And thanks for supporting California's pistachio farmers like me.
Learn more from American pistachio growers at americanpistachios.org.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
.423 on your afternoon drive. It's News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Online, you'll find us at kmjnow.com. If you missed any part of the show, you'll be able to catch up with podcasts a little bit later tonight at kmjnow.com. You can also subscribe. That makes the boss happy. You can do that with Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, pretty much anywhere that you like to listen. Just search for KMJ's Afternoon Drive, and we will probably be there. Akram checking in on Facebook Live saying, Phil, this whole time I thought you were an albino. Shocker. In response to the revelation that I'm 99.7% Northwestern European. Yeah, I know. I'm obviously very white. I am not, however, an albino. You'll notice. Blue eyes, not red. Thank you, Akram. I got a different story out of San Francisco, and this is a weird one. And I got to admit, I'm kind of worried about the guy. He's part of the morning show on a station called Wild 94.9, which has been it's been a leading station in the Bay Area since I was a kid. It's absolutely huge. And Jeffrey Vandergrift, he's JV on the morning show, was last seen at about 10 o'clock Thursday night outside his home on King Street in the city. He made a social media post that really freaked out his coworkers and his fans. And it's I have to admit that the post itself is it's kind of dark. I want to share this story as it was reported by KGO TV in the city because they do a good job of explaining what's going on here. But also so you can hear, again, just think of that, upbeat urban CHR station and the normal attitude of that kind of morning show. And you can really hear this. This isn't a bit.
Whereabouts of popular radio host Jeffrey Vandergrift are still unknown at this hour.
Yeah, it's really a sad story. He's commonly referred to as JV. He's been missing since last Thursday night after posting a message on social media.
ABC 7 News reporter Leanne Melendez has more on what police are saying.
It was a somber morning show on Wild 94.9 as his on-air co-workers weighed in following Jeffrey Vandergrift's disappearance.
So just so incredibly difficult, and it's difficult for all of us, obviously.
Police said the popular co-host known as JV was considered at risk after posting a message that started by saying, "Thank you for a wonderful life filled with joy, laughs, pain, and struggle." Since then, there has been no communication from him.
Same thing with credit cards, banking statements. There's been nothing there.
Police spoke briefly about the case this afternoon.
Our investigation involves trying to see any clues for the usage of electronics, seeing the usage of his electronic funds, and we're not disclosing any of the information that we may or may have not found.
Vandergrift had openly talked about being diagnosed with a severe case of Lyme disease, which often gave him brain fog.
Brain fog is just this inability to, remember things. You just don't feel quite right.
The Bay Area Lyme Foundation told us they are grateful to JV for speaking out about the disease.
That made it easier for him to bring to his audience and easier for it to be real. And it is real.
His fans tuned in this morning hoping to get more information on his whereabouts.
I'm keeping hope alive.
JV, if you're out there listening, we love you, buddy.
Police say he was last seen near his apartment on King Street. In San Francisco, Leanne Melendez, ABC 7 News.
And again, that social media post that he shared, that's the part that's really got, I think, a lot of people extra concerned because it was it really could be interpreted one of two ways, but the timing it puts it into a challenging context. He said, "Thank you for a wonderful life filled with joy, laughs, pain, and struggle. It's been a great journey. Your support and prayers meant the world. Keep shining." And then he's got some emojis and just trying to throw some positivity on it. I'm hoping that they're going to find this cat somewhere, that he jumped in his car and took off for some point east, and that this dude's going to turn up. And the odds are, unless you're a Bay Area local, unless you're listening to me right now from Cupertino or San Jose, you probably don't know JV. You probably don't know Wild 94.9. I'm going to share the link to the story. I'm hoping that this dude turns up somewhere. I'm hoping that this was a case of somebody burning out and deciding to just take off, and that it's not what that social media post kind of implies, because it's I don't know what the guy was going through. We hear about Lyme disease and you hear about the symptoms and the side effects, but to have to do a job like that, to be in love with a job like that, where you've got to be upbeat and on point and aware of so much and managing so much, and to not be able to think, it's maddening and it's heartbreaking. And I hope that there's good news about this story sometime in the not too distant future. Like I said, I'm going to share the story from KGO TV. So if you want to take a look at it, if you're not familiar with this cat, you know who you're looking for. And I'm personally, I'm interested in hearing what the outcome of this story is, because joking aside, radio people are weird people, and they can be very emotional and sometimes very impulsive. And my hope is that this was an emotional and impulsive, but ultimately recoverable moment for this guy. You'll be able to find the link on social media at Drive KMJ.
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Fresno County Office of Emergency Services working with the Red Cross to open a shelter to assist residents of Prather, Albury, and Shaver Lake areas who are currently without power. The shelter is at Foothill Elementary. That's at 29147 Albury Road, Prather. It opens as of 4 o'clock today. Residents asked to bring only essentials such as medication, clothes, and toiletries. Pets that can be kenneled are allowed. The shelter is ADA compliant and will have restrooms and showers. The Red Cross is providing cots, blankets, pillows, and a few meals. The shelter will remain open until power is restored to the areas that were mentioned. Madera County taking a beating during this latest winter storm. About 6,000 people still without power right now. Another 1,500 outages reported in Mariposa County, 1,300 in Fresno County. The severe weather threat continues today, with the heaviest rain likely to hit the Central Valley this afternoon. A leading movie theater operator joins forces with the country's biggest retailer. Fox's Hillary Barsky explains.
AMC Entertainment is working with Walmart to launch a line of popcorn. Fans of the snack will be able to pick up AMC's movie theater type popcorn at select Walmart locations starting March the 11th, which happens to be the weekend of the Oscars. And by April, AMC popcorn will be on the shelves of more than 2,600 Walmart stores. AMC also plans to offer its popcorn via other distribution channels later this year. The new line includes 6 items, including 3 flavors of microwave and pre-pop popcorn. The Popcorn Initiative is one of CEO Adam Aron's many pushes to transform AMC into more than just a movie theater chain. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Freeze warning in effect for the valley floor tomorrow night through Friday morning. Temps could get as low as 27 degrees. Meanwhile, valley afternoon highs remain well below normal in the upper 40s and low 50s, and rain continues across the Central Valley through late tonight. expecting a half to a full inch of rain in Fresno. And a blizzard warning continues for the High Sierra through tomorrow. 4 to 6 feet of snow with 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts expected. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Taking a look at traffic in Fowler, the Adams Avenue on-ramp to northbound 99. There's been a collision, no injuries involved there. In Madera County, Avenue 9, Road 36, cleanup after a collision, unknown injuries there. And in Fresno Metro, Shaw at North Fresno Street, a collision with no injuries. A reminder that Yosemite National Park remains closed until tomorrow at least. Chains are required in most areas of the Sierra Nevada at 3,000 feet or above. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Find inspiration at the 37th Annual Fresno Home and Garden Show, March 3rd through 5th at the Fresno Fairgrounds. While there, be sure to visit one of our special exhibitors, Noble Credit Union.
At Noble Credit Union, we understand how hard you've worked building your home's equity. So now, let it work for you. Improvements like a remodeled kitchen or bathroom or a new patio or pool will add instant value to your home. Did you know you could even use the equity in your home to take a once-in-a-lifetime vacation or pay college tuition? Noble Credit Union is here to help you make smart decisions with low-rate loan options. Visit our booth and find out about our special home show offer, guaranteed to save you money. Noble Credit Union is an equal housing lender and is federally insured by NCUA. Noble Credit Union, where you're worth more.
And be sure to visit Noble Credit Union at the 37th Annual Fresno Home and Garden Show, March 3rd through 5th at the Fresno Fairgrounds. Info at fresnoshows.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, "Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing." Or this one, "I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better." Unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Donate your old vehicle to carsforkids.org. The original carsforkids.org is the best vehicle donation charity, changing the lives of kids for more than 30 years, giving them a second chance at a brighter future because of your vehicle donations. Carsforkids.org offers free towing and takes vehicles in any condition. Plus, you'll receive a $50 gift card. Carsforkids.org. Donate your vehicle today.
Carsforkids.org. Right off the car, not the kid.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Try Wendy's Homestyle French Toast Sticks today. Wendy's Homestyle French Toast Sticks are so good. Some are saying they're better than their mom's French toast. Perfectly crispy on the outside, perfectly fluffy on the inside, perfectly perfect in every way. Try Wendy's Homestyle French Toast Sticks today and see if they're better than your mom's.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
You like to talk, so it shouldn't be a problem.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
4:36 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. Your Jim Miller mentioned this just a couple of minutes ago in the newscast, but I wanted to reiterate a couple of points here directly related to weather and shelter issues. The shelter being provided at Reedley College is going to remain open again tonight. Also, to support Prather, Auberry, and Shaver Lake residents without power, the Red Cross has opened a shelter at Foothills Elementary. That's on the it's 147 Auberry Road up there in Prather. Red Cross volunteers are going to have shelter, water, meals, emotional support, and additional resources for community members. You are encouraged to bring your prescriptions and other emergency medication. Bring some extra clothes, pillows you like, blankets, hygiene supplies, important documents, and other comfort items. And they're saying that special items for children and infants, and they're talking about diapers, formula, and toys, should be brought along with items for any family member who might have other needs. But if you're in Prather, Auberry, or Shaver Lake and you're without power tonight, there is a shelter open, Foothill Elementary on Auberry Road in Prather, and you'll be able to find the details on that at kmjnow.com should you need a repeat. San Joaquin Valley Sun, Daniel Gligich reporting here that the battle for Fresno County Supervisor District 2 continues with a scrape over the Cemex facility, this mine down by the San Joaquin River. And there really are, I think there really are two issues at play here, and that they're not mistaken to highlight that one of them is very clearly the supervisorial contest. Gary Bredefeld hopped on social media Sunday and started calling out the Cemex gravel mining quarry conditional use permit extension. So Cemex is seeking a 4-year extension to the permit, which it submitted to the county of Fresno. According to a report from McClatchy, the county will hold a public hearing on the extension sometime after the public agency review period closes. I think that's tomorrow. The conditional use permit application was reportedly only circulated to local, county, and state agencies, to Native American tribes, and to the San Joaquin River Parkway and Conservation Trust earlier this month. Now, Bredefeld doesn't name Brandow directly, but he does call out the Fresno County Board of Supervisors for not informing the general public about the Cemex extension application. He also says that the city was on the notification list but was not made aware of the application up to this point. And Bredefeld points out that Cemex has donated to each county supervisor, including $7,500 to Steve Brandow. So Bredefeld's post says, in part, transparency is vital to representing and standing up for those people who have entrusted you to be their voice in government. Unfortunately, a politician in Fresno County showed that he doesn't seem to care about being transparent with constituents when he failed to ensure the public was informed of Cemex's effort to extend their conditional use permit for 4 more years. Gligich reports that Bredefeld noted that each member of the board can receive donations of up to $30,000, which led into another attack on Brandow, with Bredefeld saying if a donation of $7,500 persuades a politician to keep quiet about the public about the public being kept in the dark about Cemex's extension of their conditional use permit, one can only imagine what donations of $25,000 or $35,000 will get as donors. And according to Daniel Gligich, reporting for the SJV Sun, Brandow declined to respond to a request for comment. So there really are two veins to mine in this story. The first is exactly what Bredefeld's pointing to. Now, I've not heard any great rending of garments or gnashing of teeth over Cemex and their gravel mining quarry. I am sure that there are environmental goofballs that will jump up and down and scream about it simply because it is a thing happening somewhere near water. Haven't seen protests, haven't seen anything in any of the local media. They continue to truck along and do business and provide jobs. So I'm curious to learn what the objection would be to extending the conditional use permit. That in and of itself is a curiosity to me. Because if this is just a business continuing to do what they do, and what they are doing is both creating jobs and not creating any sort of hazard, be it traffic, environmental, whatever. I'm not sure what the problem is, but the public has a right to know and to comment on these things. And so Dr. Bredefeld brings up a valid point. Why wasn't this circulated? Why wasn't the public made aware of this? And maybe there's a perfectly logical explanation. The problem is Supervisor Brandow isn't commenting on it. And this is something that has, to be perfectly honest, surprised me a great deal about Supervisor Brandow since City Councilman Bredefeld announced his intention at the end of his term on the Fresno City Council to go after the District 2 supervisorial seat. In my opinion, the function of the Fresno County Supervisors is largely to simply keep a hand on the rudder. In other words, that they are not entirely, but frequently a pass-through entity for state policy and funding making its way to Central California. And they do have some limited influence over policy in the county specifically. Oversight on the sheriff's office, that sort of thing. There isn't a lot of ruckus coming out of the Fresno County Board of Supervisors. From time to time, you'll see something like this situation with redistricting, where a perfectly valid redistricting takes place, and then somebody like Assemblymember Arambula takes issue with the fact that it looks too much like the system that's been in place, and so therefore we need to usurp the will of the voters, disenfranchise the people that voted for this Board of Supervisors, and create an unelected panel to go through and do redistricting because politics. Since Councilman Bredefeld announced his intention to run for the District 2 supervisorial seat, I've invited Steve Brandow to come be on the show. And he declined. I did hear back from him, but he said he wasn't ready, that it wasn't time for him to come on and talk. And I'm really torn because I know that Steve Brandow's a good guy, and I know that Steve Brandow is a conscientious person. He takes the job seriously. Brandow is also a hell of a budget hawk. I mean, don't ever forget, Steve Brandow came to Fresno politics by way of the Tea Party. And I've never seen anything out of him that's caused me to believe that he has completely abandoned those Tea Party principles of less government interference, less taxation. I guess if I'm just going to be plain spoken, I regard Steve as one of the good guys. Now, to Councilman Bredefeld's credit, while he sometimes makes a spectacle out of things that turn out to be non-stories, especially when it comes to budgetary issues, Councilmember Bredefeld and I that's where we are most often in agreement. The culture wars stuff I'm not such a big fan of, but the man's entitled to his opinion, and his win record in local politics indicates that there are folks who appreciate his take on that side of things as well. So one, it's remarkable that we aren't getting a little bit more of a public awareness of this thing, because you would think that if nothing else, the environmental goofballs would be the ones jumping up and down and screaming about this, but they're very quiet now. Is it because they didn't know there was an opportunity for comment or to block the conditional use permit? Not that I'm in favor of that. I'll be honest, I don't know enough about it to have a strong opinion one way or the other yet. It's significant that it wasn't talked about more publicly, but I don't consider that a fatal error in judgment, because Steve Brandow is not the only Fresno County supervisor. So I suspect there may be a satisfactory or at least reasonable explanation for that. But this is now the third time, because you had Bredefeld's announcement that he was going to run for the seat. Then you had the announcement of a study that was commissioned by Councilman Bredefeld that said that he was comfortably leading Supervisor Brandow in terms of voter favorability and name recognition. And now for a third time, a shot's been fired and there's no response. Now, I mean it when I say I regard Steve as one of the good guys. And I while we don't agree on everything, he and I are certainly not in lockstep. He's somebody that I've been very comfortable watching his political ascent because his head and his heart are in the right place. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why it is that he won't engage on this stuff. If this election comes down to name recognition and who's being the most vocal, Supervisor Brandow's in trouble if he doesn't start talking and pushing back on this stuff. What do you think about this? Is this just so much noise from local politicians, or is there something going on here that concerns you or excites you or interests you? 490-5858, 800-776-5858.
And checking on traffic in Tulare County, Freeway 198 at Spruce Road, there's been a collision, no injuries involved there. In Fresno, northbound 41 and 180, the connector, a collision, unknown injuries. And in the Fowler area, the Adams Avenue on-ramp to northbound 99, a collision, no injuries there. Here's another way to win this March at Table Mountain Casino Resort. You can win a stoneware set on Thursdays from 5 a.m. to midnight. Earn 900 points playing with your rewards card. If you qualify, you win. Pick up your gift piece from the promotions counter while supplies last. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Lon Hanna here, talking cow care. The folks at Evans Feed know that this is a critical time of year to keep your cows healthy. If you're thinking about cutting back on your supplement programs, Mother Nature already has. Remember, it's up to you to help increase money in your calf check. Take care of your cows with Megalick Tubs by New Generation Supplements. You'll see improved performance, body condition, conception, and weaning weights, plus more disease resistance. So take care of your cows and they'll take care of you. See your Evans Feed Megalick distributor today in Madera, Chowchilla, and Porterville.
Folks, there's a fast break with the game on the line. He dribbles down the court, passes ahead for the alley-oop, and it's caught for a slam dunk.
Do you need an assist? Regain and optimize your sexual performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to help in the bedroom. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 559-550-6771. That's 559-550-6771.
Inflation goes up. Do you feel like you need to refinance your car to fill up the gas tank? What if 2 years ago someone offered to sell you a lifetime supply of gas at $2.75 a gallon, but you told them no? Today, you would be kicking yourself. Right now, Planet Solar has that same offer for you on your electric bill. As inflation goes up, so does your utility bill. Lock in your energy prices today with a new Planet Solar system. Planet Solar is locally owned and operated in Clovis. They're big enough to offer you all the best brands and in-house financing, but small enough to give you the personal service you deserve. Call Planet Solar to find out how to lock in your electricity costs today. You'll be glad you did. Call them at 559-228-9245 or find them on the web at planetsolar.com. That's 228-9245 or planetsolar.com. License number 938313.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with AutoPay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 23.99% APR and include a 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Attention grape and tree fruit growers, packers, and shippers. Looking for additional storage capacity in your warehouses? Need more space but do not want to build? Fresno Rack has helped tree nut facilities all over California with racking systems that not only increases storage by over 25%. Whether you're looking to increase pallet load storage or super sacks, Fresno Rack has the answer. They can design a system using flow racking, pushback racking, drive-in racking, or selective racking to increase your warehouse storage capacities with in-house sales, design, and installation. You'll be shocked how fast Fresno Rack revamps your warehouse to give you more pallet spaces. Call Fresno Rack at 559-275-7225 or head to FresnoRack.com for a look under cold storage racking and take a look. Fresno Rack would also love for you to visit their showroom too. Fresno Rack has a no-obligation visit to discuss your storage needs and see if their systems would work for your nut warehouses.
Live, local, on it. News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
KMJ.
And always streaming at KMJNow.com.
Rolling up on 5 o'clock on your afternoon drive. News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. You're just noticing the signal issues with 1059 FM. Worry not, it is not your receiver, it is the storm, man. Wreaking havoc with our gear and KMPH and KFRE. The solution in the case of KMJ would be either to jump over to our AM transmitter, which is in a completely different location and working just dandy, thank goodness, or get the new KMJ app. You'll find that in the Google Play and iOS stores. Just search for KMJ Now or 580 KMJ. Either way, 580 AM or with the new KMJ app, you continue to enjoy the programming you love. And when the storm blows over, engineering will be able to get up on the hill to work on the giant metal pole from which our signal emanates. The Fresno Bee editorial board, this is one of those nobody's right all the time, nobody's wrong all the time stories. They're talking about Assembly Bill 935. This is the plan to ban the sale of any tobacco product to anyone born after January 1st of 2007. Sellers violating the law would face an escalating scale of fines and a possible suspension or revocation of their license to sell tobacco products. In the case of AB 935, a tobacco product is defined as anything, quote, derived from tobacco or nicotine that is intended for human consumption, whether smoked, heated, chewed, absorbed, dissolved, inhaled, snorted, sniffed, or ingested by any other means, including but not limited to cigarettes, cigars, little cigars, chewing tobacco, pipe tobacco, vaping liquid, or snuff. Now, the Fresno Bee editorial board goes on to say there's nothing commendable about tobacco use, and smoking tobacco is, of course, highly addictive. It causes cancer. The American Cancer Society says about 30% of all cancer deaths are attributed to smoking. However, and this is where the Fresno Bee editorial board gets it, not that that was incorrect, but this is where they start to make a lot of sense. The freedom to choose as an adult is a sacred right. Californians should still have the right to decide if they want to smoke or not. If they do, they will encounter myriad rules governing where they can light up, which might be the proper role of government. They also say the number of Californians smoking cigarettes has steadily declined from 1998, where it was almost a quarter of Californians smoked. Now only 10% of adults are cigarette smokers. No, they say no to AB 935. It's an overreaching, controlling measure. And they're right. That's nice to see. Hour 4 is on the way, along with an update of headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ newsroom and another look at your drive home with Ron McCary. This is KMJ.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Doug. Hey, listener. Welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it.
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Mr. World here, about to take the plunge on the world's fastest roller coaster. I hope it's as fast as the in-store labs at Eyeglass World. When you drop in there, they make your glasses the same day. You should give it a whirl. Just remember to keep your hands and feet inside the Eyeglass World at all times.
Get 2 pairs of glasses for $89. Fast at Eyeglass World, the world's best way to buy glasses. Visit eyeglassworld.com to schedule your exam online and for offer details.
Ad paid for by Montreal Drugstore. Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. PowerPill allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $2 per pill? Call today and get 50 Viagra pills for only $99. This could cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us if you want Viagra at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $2 per pill. Call us today to save up to $500 and get 50 pills for just $99. PowerPill is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now at 800-204-0017. Call 800-204-0017. That's 800-204-0017. Again, 800-204-0017. 800-204-0017.
Crafted burgers, cooked to juicy perfection. Delicious sandwiches, made to order. Not to mention creamy hand-dipped milkshakes and freshly made sides. At Wayback Burgers, we're not about taking shortcuts. That's why everything we make is cooked to order, so you can savor the moment and the food. Go to waybackburgers.com and find your nearest location.
Go to KMJnow.com and click on Sweet Deals for a great offer.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. In Hanford, a hydrochloride leak causing shutdowns of Highway 43 as well as Highway 198. Kings County Fire says the leak coming from an old tanker truck on a property on Lacey Boulevard near Highway 198 and Highway 43. The tanker releasing a toxic cloud by Celia Hazmat was called in to help. Authorities shut down a large area for safety, including both highways and multiple roads. Nearby school was also placed on lockdown. A water park resort is stopping its plans to expand in the South Valley. KMJ's Liz Kern has details.
In December, it was announced that Great Wolf Lodge was coming to Visalia, adding to resorts already in Manteca and Garden Grove. The Tulare County Board of Supervisors had already approved tax incentives and land use, and the company had passed environmental criteria. The 35-acre hotel and indoor water park was supposed to break ground this year, opening in 2025. In a statement made to the Fresno Bee, the company said it reached a mutually agreeable term with the landowner in Tulare County to terminate the agreement. The company says it's a matter of timing, and it plans to invest in existing resorts. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Police investigating after 3 dogs found stabbed to death in central Fresno this morning. One dog found outside a home near Ashland Avenue and Fresno Street, while the other 2 were found in the neighborhood at about 4 in the morning. Any information on what led to the stabbings or a description of the suspect has not been released. Yosemite Unified School campuses, district offices, and departments remain closed today amid severe winter weather. The latest system has left Oakhurst with power outages and dangerous road conditions. The district says they'll continue to monitor the situation and provide updates regarding the rest of this week. A new government report says farmers are adopting precision ag at different rates. KMJ Ag Director Don York explains.
Not all farmers are embracing precision technology at the same pace. A USDA report says the largest farms are adopting auto-steer guidance technology at much higher rates. For example, farmers who are growing corn back in 2016, 73% of them adopted guidance on their operations. The rates were similar for the largest farms growing other commodities in later years. Adoption rates were much less among the smallest farms in the country. For example, just 10% of the smallest corn farms in 2016 made use of the technology, but 50% of the smallest cotton farms have now adopted the high-tech help. Don York, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Freeze warning in effect for the valley floor tomorrow night through Friday morning. Temps could get as low as 27 degrees. Meanwhile, valley afternoon highs remain well below normal in the upper 40s and low 50s, and rain continues across the Central Valley through late tonight, expecting a half to a full inch of rain in Fresno. And a blizzard warning continues for the High Sierra through tomorrow, 4 to 6 feet of snow with 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts expected. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
In Madera County, southbound 99 Avenue 17 at the off-ramp there's been a collision, no injuries. Also in Tulare County at Highway 198 at Spruce Road, a collision with no injuries. And in the Fresno metro area, northbound 41 and the 180, a collision with unknown injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 105.9 KMJ.
505, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Good afternoon, I'm Philip Teresi. Phone's open for your calls, 490-5858. Toll free, join me at 800-776-5858. Had somebody check in over on Twitch. And if you want to watch the show, we do stream live on twitch.tv, Facebook Live, and YouTube, all at Drive KMJ. Looks like, I don't know if it's Denise or Dina, but she's saying a little good news. Mission Oak High School out of Tulare. The cheerleaders won their division this past weekend. The Mission Oak High School cheerleading team are now officially national champions. That's really cool. Congratulations, Mission Oak High School cheerleaders. That's great news. Kind of a neat thing to get into the last quarter of the school year with. And thank you, by the way. Again, I think it's Dina. I'm sorry, the font is tiny, so forgive me if I'm getting your name wrong, but I'm glad you shared that. Shaver Lake residents would like to make a simple request. Stay home! The roads are a mess. Highway 168 has been closed intermittently. The storm is not over. And the Fresno County crews are working their butts off. They're up in the foothills, really hustling to keep residents safe. As a matter of fact, Jim Miller had this earlier, but to kind of give you an idea just how nuts it's getting as you head up that way, the Red Cross has opened a shelter at Foothill Elementary on Auberry Road in Prather for Shaver Lake, Auberry, and Prather residents who don't have power. So Shaver Lake residents would like very much for the tourists to just cool it for a couple of days. Fresno County Supervisor Nathan Magsig says that Caltrans is working closely with public works crews, and they're doing everything they can to keep the roads open, but roads are closed in Shaver. If you're a full-time resident, you can come and go, but, quote, there could be as much as 7 feet of snow between now and Wednesday in Shaver. We are encouraging people to stay home and allow our crews to work hard to keep the roads safe. Please stay home. The snow will be there later. The other piece of this, and it's not going to be an issue this week, but it is going to be an issue as we get into warmer weather. The Creek fires 2.5 years ago, it impacted 400,000 acres. When that snow starts to melt, you're going to see mudslides and rock slides. Now, crews are doing everything they can to prepare, but just one more thing for Caltrans and county crews to think about as they keep the roads clear. And if you were thinking, golly, I want to go to Shaver and see the snow, don't. Now's not the time. If you don't live there, you're just an obstacle to somebody trying to get the roads clear. Now, I saw this story out of Study Finds. And I got to admit, I think I'm pretty well in step with this. And thinking back about what the people in my life have said, I think this is true. And I'd actually really like to hear from you on this. To boil it down, 7 in 10 Americans would rather be buried in a cardboard box than have their family overspend on a funeral. 81% of the 2,000 Americans that they polled have given at least some thought to what their memorial service will one day be like. Now, they say that millennials are 61% more likely than baby boomers, to have given moderate thought. But regardless of age, 1 in 4 residents has already given their own funeral a great deal of thought. The survey conducted on behalf of Titan Casket. Asking the barber if you need a haircut. The survey indicates that more Americans have helped to plan funerals than weddings, baby showers, or Sweet 16 parties. And 59% of all respondents would like to actively participate in planning their own funeral, but only 11% have started. They also say that folks want a lot of people to be there. They say anywhere from 50 to 100 attendees is the average, and that more folks want a massive ceremony than an intimate one. Then they get into the cost, and they say that respondents guessed the average funeral service would cost around $5,800, and that the average casket would cost about $2,700. I can tell you right now, they're out of their minds. Funerals start at like $7,000. Even a modest funeral, $10,000, $12,000 is not a hard line to cross. And as far as the cost of caskets, that's one of those sky's the limit situations, because you can get the cardboard box. I think even that though, I think they still charge a couple $100 for. But if you want a Cadillac casket, that can be thousands of dollars. Now, here's the thing. I'm in no way saying this to be sad. I think that at a certain point in life, this is probably true for most of us. I've participated in, and I've had at least a small hand in planning and executing quite a few funerals. And I've attended even more that I was just another face in a sea of grieving faces. But I've talked, and I think this is a normal thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe my perspective's warped. My dad died when I was 15 years old. And I've seen somebody close to me, somebody significant in my life die, it feels like at least once a year. But especially when we learned that my father was terminally ill, and not just terminally ill, but was in fact on the road to his demise. And for those of you that know, my dad died of AIDS. And so there was this long span of time where he was HIV positive. And he didn't talk about that. Now, he was, unbeknownst to us, taking all of the precautions that one would in the 1980s being HIV positive. But my brother and I didn't know anything about it. Our mother knew, but Matthew and I really didn't know anything about it. And when his health took a turn, I was in 7th grade. And that was the point at which he acknowledged to us that he was HIV positive, that he had crossed over into active AIDS, because AIDS is the acquired immune deficiency syndrome, and it is the end stage of the human immunodeficiency virus infection. So HIV leads to AIDS. AIDS leads to death. So I was in 7th grade when he finally crossed that line, and his T cell count dropped down that low. And so at that point, the conversation about his mortality became very front and center, most of all for my brother and I. And he talked about what he wanted at his funeral. And we talked about what our expectations and our wishes were in terms of support and family involvement and all of that. And since that point, it's been just a very normal conversation in my family to talk about death and dying and what do you want to do. And everybody I know, everybody in my family, everybody I've talked to about this, there's a whole lot of donate any usable organs. For goodness sake, if I die in an accident and there's something that somebody else can use, give it away. And then from that point, the answer varies from cremate the remainder and toss it in the ocean to and make me as pretty as you can and have a big Irish wake and an open casket and scream and cry and get drunk on whiskey, or whatever it is folks want to do. But everybody, it seems to come back around to, I don't want my family to waste money on my funeral. Because it's easy to say for yourself, but when it's time to sit down and plan these things, because right now you can call Neptune Society, and I believe, I haven't checked in a while, but you can pay the Neptune Society up front. I want to say it's either $1,200 or $1,500. I don't know what the number is right now, but it's $1,200 or $1,500. That covers the pickup of your remains. It covers the cremation of your remains. And it covers the burial at sea of your remains. It is one of the single most cost-effective, hands-off ways for a dead person to be disposed of. Now, that's not satisfactory to some people. You want a place to go and mourn, or you want a chance to go to an open casket and say goodbye and all of that. Well, all of that adds cost and adds cost and adds cost. The number of people that I know who have participated in these conversations about death, I'm talking about mom, grandma, siblings, all of that. The number of people I know who have actually taken a single step in making those arrangements, I can count on one hand. And I'm genuinely curious, and I'd love to hear from you. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Do you agree with this idea of, I don't want a fancy box. I don't want to waste money on a dog and pony show that enriches a funeral director. I just want everybody to get together and have a good time remembering me. I want a memorial where people are going to feel the spirit and they're going to feel my love, and there's going to be that energy. But when it's time to put me in the ground, for goodness sake, grab that box you got when you bought the new Frigidaire, and get me to my hole in the ground. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Is this survey completely out of line? Does this survey, acknowledging that we're talking about majorities, we're talking about percentages, does it miss the religious influence? And does it ignore the cathartic potential of having that outpouring, that demonstration of mourning and respect that comes from a big fancy funeral? I can tell you guys right now, without any doubt in my mind whatsoever, for all the people in my family that said, oh, no. Donate any organs anybody else can use and cremate the rest and scatter me someplace pretty. None of my grandparents wanted that. All of my grandparents wanted full battle dress Catholic funerals. They wanted the mass. They wanted the casket. They wanted the rosary. They wanted the whole thing. Tens of thousands of dollars. And it's all in a hillside somewhere in Santa Clara County now. Is it a show of respect? 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Looking forward to, really, truly looking forward to hearing your take when we get back on the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
And traffic is sponsored by Central Valley Fleet and Mercedes-Benz of Fresno. We are looking at northbound 99 in the Olive Avenue off-ramp. A collision with no injuries. That's right in the middle of Fresno. Southbound 99 at Avenue 17 at the off-ramp there. There's been a collision with no injuries, and that's in Madera County. In Tulare County, 198 and Spruce Road, the collision there with no injuries, and northbound 41 at 180, cleanup after a collision with no injuries. Is it new or pre-owned? It's hard to tell when you drive a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from Mercedes-Benz of Fresno. The closest to new you can get that comes with another surprise, an affordable price. See firsthand at Mercedes-Benz of Fresno, Paulman Herndon. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Looking for a new dining and beverage experience? Come check out Genesis Bistro at the northeast corner of Cedar and Nice in Fresno, where the chef's cuisine along with our mixologist's full cocktail and wine bar are getting people talking. Open for lunch and dinner, make your next meal with friends or family at Genesis Bistro, a one-of-a-kind experience. Also a great place to host a special event or celebration meal. To reserve an event, call 559-314-8284. Are you a talented hairstylist looking for a change? Check out 8028 Salon at Cedar and Nice, where we have open stations available and a move-in special. 8028 Salon offers a unique location and atmosphere for you and your clients. Elegantly located next to Genesis Bistro, your clients will have full options to enjoy food and drinks during service. 8028 Salon only has a few open stations left. Give your talents as a stylist the location you deserve at 8028 Salon. Inquire today at the location, northeast corner of Cedar and Nice in Fresno.
Attention. Per the current government mandate, U.S.-based insurers are now required to cover at-home COVID testing kits with no out-of-pocket fees to you. If you have a current insurance plan, you are eligible to receive up to 8 COVID-19 tests shipped to you each month absolutely free, as long as the government mandate is in effect. Just visit testkitforfree.com to register now from the comfort of your own home. That's testkitforfree.com to receive your tests shipped to you at no cost. Go to testkitforfree.com today. Paid for by T. Euro Health.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs. You used to associate crickets with silence. But since you bought a house in the suburbs, you know crickets hate silence. If any other creature realized rubbing its legs together made a piercing, high-pitched noise, they might think, maybe I won't do that. Constantly. All night long. Luckily, you can save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto. Now that's something to make noise about. Just not constantly. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
Hi, I'm Scott Miller, President and CEO of the Fresno Chamber of Commerce, and I want to invite you to the Mobagunu Memorial Golf Classic on Thursday, March 30th at Sunnyside Country Club. What better place to do business than on the golf course? With over $100,000 in hole-in-one prize money and a chance to win a new car, this will be a golf tournament you don't want to miss. Foursomes are selling fast, so sign up today. Registration and sponsorships available now at FresnoChamber.com. That's FresnoChamber.com.
Attention tree nut growers, packers, and shippers. Looking for additional storage capacity in your warehouses? Need more space but do not want to build? Fresno Rack has helped tree nut facilities all over California with racking systems that not only increases storage by over 25%. Whether you're looking to increase pallet load storage or super sacks, Fresno Rack has the answer. They can design a system using flow tracking, pushback racking, drive-in racking, or selective racking to increase your warehouse storage capacities with in-house sales, design, and installation. You'll be shocked how fast Fresno Rack revamps your warehouse to give you more pallet spaces. Call Fresno Rack at 559-275-7225 or head to FresnoRack.com for a look under cold storage racking. And take a look. Fresno Rack would also love for you to visit their showroom too. Fresno Rack offers a no-obligation visit to discuss your storage needs and see if their systems will work for your nut warehouses.
California's acclaimed Harris Ranch Inn and Restaurant, among the first and largest farm-to-fork dining destinations in the San Joaquin Valley. It's the perfect drive-in or fly-in destination. Indulge in our prime steakhouse, where you'll enjoy our tender beef aged to perfection, or try our casual ranch kitchen for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Unwind in our Horseshoe Lounge, featuring your favorite cocktails, wine, and several beers on tap. Relax and enjoy an overnight stay in one of our spacious suites at the Harris Ranch Inn, where you'll experience first-class service. It's an oasis for travelers and locals alike. Join us where the West unwinds. Visit harrisranch.com.
Rolling through a 5 o'clock hour in News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Boy, those storms are back, man. Getting some rain out here at Radio City at Palm and Shaw. Don't forget, I saw a couple of folks out on Shaw doing it just a minute ago. Don't forget, if your windshield wipers are on, your headlights should be on. Be safe out there. I feel like we got a lot of practice at the beginning of the year, but still saw 2 cars buzzing along, no lights. Anyways, we're talking about this study commissioned by Titan Casket. It was conducted by the market research company OnePoll. They talked to 2,001 Americans, and they asked them about funeral arrangements. What do you want done when the time comes? And a majority responded that they do not want their family to waste a bunch of money on a funeral. They'd be perfectly happy being buried in a cardboard box. They also said that they want to participate in their own funeral planning, although only a minority of people have actually taken action on that. And I'm kind of in that vein. For me personally, if there's viable organs, for goodness sake, donate them, save some lives. I don't know if my lungs are going to do any good, but my heart's in great shape. My kidneys and liver are doing fine. If there's other parts that are valuable, great. Take them and make somebody else's life better. For me, take the rest, cremate it, scatter it someplace pretty. That's what I want. The less that my family spends on that, the better as far as I'm concerned. But interestingly, these folks also say they want to have memorials. They want to have big services with a turnout, with people coming out to mourn them and acknowledge them. I kind of get that. And when my time comes, I hope that everybody throws a party and has a good time and remembers me warmly. 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. What about you? Do you want a big fuss? Do you want a fancy funeral? Do you want the full boat Catholic experience as my grandparents did? Or do you want something simple with a nice memorial for the people that should be there to remember you? We'll start with Bob at 490-5858. Bob, thanks for calling. Welcome to KMJ.
Hello. Hey, I kind of heard you talking about this. I have already made my funeral arrangements. I did use the Neptune Society as well, and I did it approximately 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I do believe I had 2 options. One was $1,100, and one I believe was $1,700. And the additional one was if you're traveling outside the United States and you had a problem out there, that would cover your transportation back home.
Okay, that makes sense.
At that time, I was traveling a lot. I did it, but I don't think it's necessary for everybody. The reason I did choose to do it, and I think it's a great idea for everybody, is I went to my grandparents' funeral where their arrangements were made.
Yeah.
It was their wishes. It was simple for the brothers and sisters. It was just done. My mother had passed, and everybody has a different idea. Everybody's emotions are being played with. And after doing that, I says, I'm getting mine done. So I would highly recommend it. And I don't want my wife or my children to have to bury me. It's very simple, and those were my wishes. And I'd recommend it.
Well, Bob, first of all, congratulations on being part of the tiny minority to take action and do it. Let me ask you about the other piece. Now, you've made your arrangements. You've done it in a very economical way, because even if you paid the $1,700, that's still less than most people would pay even just to have a casket. As far as the memorial, when Bob is no longer with us, all this is going to get done. Do you want a big party? Do you want your wife and kids to get everybody together and have a throwdown and put your picture up and tell funny Bob stories?
You know, I don't need anything. I want people to remember me as I was. If they want to get together and have a celebration of life, because I've had a very good life, I feel thankful, I'm okay with that. But I don't need that. You know, it's whatever they choose to do. I do want to go to an island, San Miguel Island, into the ocean.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a favorite place for me. And when my family goes to the ocean, they could say hello. You know, pretty simple for me.
Bob, I like it, and I'm glad that you took the steps to make sure that you're going to have it the way that you want it. I also appreciate the call, my friend, and I hope it's a good long time before those arrangements are called into play. 490-5858. Catherine's next. Catherine, welcome to KMJ.
Thank you. I lost my wonderful mom and dad within 10 months of each other this year, and both of them had 2-day services, so that's 4 days.
Yeah.
There was a funeral home that did get rich. There was a need for our family to take out loans to be able to accommodate the wishes, and I know that we did the best we could to give them a good send-off. Mom and Dad were married for 70 years and 4 months. They loved each other so much. They met when he was a toddler and she was a baby. And so it was a love story, and we told that love story at both of those funerals, because a lot of people have lost hope that they can have a good life together for a long time.
Yeah.
And so the cost, it was worth it to us to take out the loans to do it, because we knew that was their wishes. My dad had a military honors funeral with the salutes and the guns that went off. My mom had a wonderful funeral. And so we know that we did the best by our mom and dad, both in life and in death, caring for them, being their caregivers, making sure they never went to a nursing home. And so, yes, the funeral home did get a lot more money than we thought they really should have required.
Yeah.
And my dad was the next one to go. The funeral home raised it by a couple thousand more for the very same services. So it makes us think, yes, there are other options. I know there's land that I would love to be buried on if there's a way to get a permit to be buried in a family property, if there would be a sectioned off area and obey all rules or whatever, permits or whatever, because that way my family could come see me and they would not have to pay for a very deep, expensive cost. I would probably want a pine box or the minimal, something that would fit whatever the health laws and rules would be.
Sure.
And the celebration of life for both Mom and Dad was beautiful because it was inspiring. Their stories were wonderful for the people they were. And so we did do that. And we did. And I don't know that they would have wanted us to have the celebration of life, probably just the funeral, but we did that because of the amazing, wonderful gift of parents that God gave us. And for me, I don't want a big to-do, but I would like to be on a very cherished family property from generation to generation. And that's it.
Well, Catherine, I'm so glad that you were able to do that for your family. I'm sorry that the cost is so high, but I think it's wonderful that you and your family came together and did that and honored that. And by the way, to be clear, while my preference are what they are, if that's what suits you, if it makes you happy to do that, by all means, because especially when you're celebrating 70 years together, that's a special thing. And it's wonderful that you were able to honor your family that way. More calls on the way. Lines open for you guys at 490-5858 and toll free 800-776-5858. New surveys out. It says that a majority of Americans would just as soon be buried in a cardboard box, and they'd like to plan their own funeral services. How about you? Do you want to plan it, or do you want to leave it for those who are standing to inherit anyways? Is the cardboard box adequate, or do you want a fuss? More calls on the way after this update of headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Well, Fresno police have found the missing elderly man. According to the department, 79-year-old Salvador Sanchez Sucio was located and is back with his family. A vigil and rally for justice going to be held tomorrow at Hoover High School, where a teenager was killed in a hit and run. The rally at 4 o'clock comes one day before Thursday's hearing for 39-year-old Lisa Spores. She's accused of striking 15-year-old Al Hakim Jr. with her car October 4th as he was crossing the street by the school. He died October the 10th. Spores now faces 3 felony counts, including murder. She had a prior DUI conviction. The state of California's coronavirus emergency officially ends today. Here's KMJ's Liz Kern with more.
It was 3 years ago that Governor Gavin Newsom issued the nation's first statewide stay-at-home order, saying these words.
There's a recognition of our interdependence that requires of this moment that we direct a statewide order for people to stay at home.
The end of California's stay-at-home order will have little effect on most people. The governor already lifted most of California's restrictions, such as those that required masks, and forced many businesses to close. President Biden announced last month the federal government will be ending its nationwide COVID-19 emergency on May 11th. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Freeze warning in effect for the valley floor tomorrow night through Friday morning. Temps could get as low as 27 degrees. Meanwhile, valley afternoon highs remain well below normal in the upper 40s and low 50s, and rain continues across the Central Valley through late tonight, expecting a half to a full inch of rain in Fresno. And a blizzard warning continues for the High Sierra through tomorrow, 4 to 6 feet of snow with 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts expected. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at Tuesday afternoon traffic in the Porterville area, Avenue 112, Road 192. There has been a collision with no injuries. Northbound 99 in Fresno at the Olive Avenue off-ramp. There's been a collision, no injuries. And in Tulare County, Madera County, southbound 99 and the Avenue 17 off-ramp, a collision with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
I know exactly how you feel. You're sitting there at the gas pump wondering, am I ever going to have a regular meal again? Because you're cutting out all the good food because you can't afford the gas, right? Wait until you see your next PG&E bill. No more meals out and no more hair because you're going to be pulling that out as well, too. Do what I did. Planet Solar. When you have a solar system put in by Planet Solar, you literally lock in your energy price forever. Don't you wish it could be that way at the gas pump? Sorry, but you can't do that there. But you can do it for your home with Planet Solar, and it all began for them right here in Central California. One of the things I really liked about these guys is their financing. Don't let the rate hike scare you away from going with Planet Solar. And they are really quick and good and efficient on installation, and they have become masters at putting together a complete solar package with a solar battery. So you've got the juice when PG&E says, no, you don't need it because we're trying to conserve to save the world. Click planetsolar.com. Do that. Call them at 228-9245.
Ad paid for by James Ryder Interactive. Attention mothers, did you take Tylenol or other acetaminophen pain-relieving products while pregnant? If you did, please listen to this message. Recent evidence suggests children whose mothers took Tylenol, Excedrin, NyQuil, Dayquil, and other store-brand pain relievers while pregnant may be more likely to develop autism. Researchers did a meta-analysis involving more than 130,000 pairs of mothers and children. The analysis revealed those exposed to acetaminophen had a 20% higher risk of developing autism. Children with autism autism have a hard time interacting with others and usually begin exhibiting social symptoms by the time they are 8 to 10 months old. Symptoms include only playing alone, no interest in sharing, and not responding to their name. If your son or daughter has autism and you're worried that acetaminophen is to blame, then you must call now for your free confidential consultation at 800-674-2189. Again, 800-674-2189. Call 800-674-2189. That's 800-674-2189.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity. New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout? Here's my card.
And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil. What are you going to do? Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with autopay and excellent credit. Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate. Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 23.99% APR and include a 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
Rolling up on 540 on your afternoon drive. Phones are open at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. We're talking about funerals. This article from Study finds a lot of folks wildly underestimating the cost of funeral services, while at the same time saying that they'd be perfectly happy to be buried in a cardboard box, and even more saying that they want to participate in the planning of their own funeral service. But very few people actually ever get with it and make those plans. I'm talking about like less than 12% have the job done. Everything's done, it's paid for, it's ready to go. As far as sitting around and talking about it, I think that we all do that a little bit. And I'm curious, for you, is the cardboard box acceptable? Are you going to be one of those folks that drops your $1,500 with Neptune Society and lets them handle it so that your family doesn't have to? Do you want a full all hands on deck traditional funeral, a wake, a rosary, a mass, a service, the big gathering afterwards? I'm genuinely curious. Do you want to plan your own thing, or do you not care? Are you one of those folks who believes that once you shuffle off the mortal coil, it's not your problem and you're not interested? 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Bart, thanks for holding. Welcome to KMJ.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, Bart. Thank you.
Yeah, we just buried my mom last month.
I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. It was a culmination of her prearranged funeral plans that we did together for her and my dad in 1996 because he was failing. And so we went together to an independent mortuary, which is kind of, I would recommend that because most of them are corporate. And so anyhow, back then, 2 funerals, $4,000, $2,000 each. And, nice cherry wood casket, the whole deal, motorcycles and everything. And so, when it all came time to do it, because of the COVID thing, there were some things that they rather would not do, like viewing and, things that would involve the public. So they did alternatives, and we buried my mom with my dad at the National Cemetery. And so all said and done, because some of those services were not performed, my mom got a refund of $428. So you figure that's like $1,600 for a full-blown funeral.
Yeah.
And but I would really recommend pre-need. So a couple of years later, my wife and I, we don't have kids, so we thought, rather than have the nephews and nieces do car washes for us, we just went ahead and did the same deal. And just at 2 years, it had gone up like $3,000. So,
Oh, yeah.
it's, but what I heard you talking about earlier, the cost of a, entry level funeral for one person, that's a remarkable thing. So anyway, hopefully we'll never need to use it. And as for like post, memorial services like that, my mom had left specific instructions, and it was like, immediate family, graveside service, and with other instructions as to what to wear and all that. And it was just so easy, I mean, there's still a lot of hoops to go through and a lot of paperwork to file.
Oh, yeah.
But the thoughtfulness of it all. And so hopefully, if anything happened to my wife and I, it would be just as easy on the survivors as it was for us. And so I think, I see what you're saying there. My wife's uncle did the Neptune Society thing, and it was a lovely thing. We went up, it'll be like, I think 5 years this past month. And it was a lovely day on the San Francisco Bay, and we actually got to reach down and grab the ashes and just cast them out onto the Golden Gate, under the Golden Gate Bridge. And, I thought it was going to be impersonal at first, but it was deeply, deeply personal to be able to do that last little kindness for him. So, it's an interesting thing when you're doing your pre-plans. It's like my wife and I are sitting there, oak or cherry? What do you think? Oh, cherry for sure, right? Brass or brushed nickel? Oh, no, brass for sure. So, when the motion's not there, things can be so much easier and not nearly as expensive, because I think, like any other big business, they play on emotions, and everybody wants to do the best thing possible for mom and dad or whoever, and sometimes people get in over their head.
Yeah, and Bart, I think that you really hit on something there, and that's the emotion of it. When we lose somebody that we care about, and if you're close enough to somebody that you're holding the bag for their funeral arrangements, you're probably devastated. Even if it was an illness that you knew that the moment was coming, you're still feeling that loss. And I agree with you. Going through a private funeral home, a mom and pop concern is absolutely a superior experience. Not to say that there aren't good folks working for those corporate chains, but corporate is corporate is corporate. But I'm really glad to hear that you guys took control of it. I do, however, disagree with brass on cherrywood. I would have gone with the brushed nickel. That's just me. Bart, I appreciate your call, my friend. Take care. I hope it's a long time until you guys have to cash that in. Chris, welcome to KMJ. Are you a cardboard box guy, or do you want something a little more ornate?
Well, let me tell you something. My mother was a donor, and she wanted to be cremated.
Yeah.
So we went to the Neptune Society, my sister and I, and we spread mother's ashes on golf courses and the wilderness that my mother loved.
Yeah.
I still have some, but every grandchild got to spread the ashes. It was around 1,600.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, my father passed in 99, and I've been out there to his site probably 40 times.
Oh, wow.
But it's something that when you go to places that you enjoy and you know that your mother's around in the sand, I think I'm going to try to take my father's remains and spread his ashes, because I don't know how many of my family have been out there to see or speak with him.
Yeah.
While he's at Belmont,
Yeah, and that's a tough thing, because that plays in too. who was in their life, who was involved, who showed caring while the opportunity was still there. Are you building a monument that's going to stand alone, or are you putting that person someplace where they are at peace and the people who knew them best have that opportunity to commune with their memory? Chris, I really appreciate the phone call, man. It's different for everybody, isn't it? It isn't quite as simple as I want to go nuts or I want to go simple. There's, as with all things, shades of gray. I appreciate your call, man. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
And this traffic report is brought to you by Central Valley Fleet and Mercedes-Benz of Fresno. In the Porterville area, Avenue 112, Road 192, there's been a collision with no injuries. In the Fresno area, northbound 99 at the Olive Avenue off-ramp, there's cleanup going after a collision with no injuries there. And in Madera County, southbound 99 at Avenue 17 at the off-ramp, there has been a collision with no injuries. Is it new or is it pre-owned? It's hard to tell when you drive a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from Mercedes-Benz of Fresno. The closest to new you can get that comes with another surprise, an affordable price. See firsthand at Mercedes-Benz of Fresno, Palm, and Herndon. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
For a better you, listen to me. Me happens to be Ray Appleton, and you know who you are. With a whole house life source water system, let's talk about a better, healthier you. You know, our bodies are up to like 70% water. So clean and healthy water is essential for your bod to function. That being said, unfiltered chlorinated water just doesn't cut it. No, you want softer skin. You want healthier hair. You don't want any more chlorine in your showers or baths. Yuck. And what you consume? Clean and delicious. And with a life source water system where you will taste and feel the difference, there's no maintenance. There's no monthly servicing. No filters. You want a better you? Life source water. That's what it's all about. Call 559-330-1850 or click lifesourcewater.com. One more time, 559-330-1850. LifeSource. Hey, you're going to taste and feel the difference. Believe it. You know who else is going to love it? Your pets. Your pets will love LifeSource. Really.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Hi, I'm Scott Miller, President and CEO of the Fresno Chamber of Commerce, and I want to invite you to the Mobagunu Memorial Golf Classic on Thursday, March 30th at Sunnyside Country Club. What better place to do business than on the golf course? With over $100,000 in hole-in-one prize money and a chance to win a new car, this will be a golf tournament you don't want to miss. Foursomes are selling fast, so sign up today. Registration and sponsorships available now at FresnoChamber.com. That's FresnoChamber.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Is the cost of medication stopping you from getting ED treatment? At 4hims.com/radio, you can get access to trusted, effective ED treatments for 95% off the typical price. Through HIMS, a licensed medical provider can prescribe the generic versions of Viagra, Cialis, and other name brand ED treatments at up to 95% off. Trusted ED treatments for a fraction of the price. Simple, affordable, totally online access to ED treatment with no insurance required starts at 4hims.com/radio. No more doctor's offices, no more copays, and no more trips to the pharmacy. If prescribed, your order ships directly to you for free in discreet packaging. ED treatment that's 95% less expensive so you can get back to feeling 100% like yourself. Start your free visit today at 4hims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/RADIO for your free visit. forhims.com/radio.
It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. Take advantage of huge discounts throughout the entire store. It's time to reward yourself and save big on all in-stock living room furniture, sectionals and recliners, bedroom sets, mattresses and accessories, casual or elegant dining room sets, patio furniture, and everything else. During Furniture City's President's Day sale, expect no money down, no interest, and no credit checks. It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. That's incredible. That's Furniture City.
Awards and honors are nice, but keeping you informed and entertained is what keeps us coming to work every day. This is KMJ.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet at KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
Rolling up on 6 o'clock on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 on 105.9 KMJ. One more holding on the subject of a majority of Americans say they want to plan their own funerals. They also said they'd be fine with a cardboard box when the time comes. Thomas, I appreciate you sticking around, man. I've got just a minute, but the floor is yours. Welcome to KMJ.
I just wanted to say, I wanted to say thank you for taking my call, but I think my experience is a little different than what everybody else has talked about. I'm only 38, and when I was 18, I enlisted in the Army and had to write my own will.
Yeah.
This last December, after my third time of getting COVID, I had a heart attack. I passed the clot and had to make a phone call to my little brother who lives in Kentucky, but I had to send him a living will.
Yeah.
And it was the most difficult thing that I had to do.
I have no doubt, Thomas. And for you in making those arrangements, I mean, you had to stare it in the face twice in a way that most people only have to do once. What choice did you make? Did you want honors and a mass and a fuss, or did you want a cardboard box and a pretty spot under a tree?
Well, you know what I told my brother? I told him, just like I think I heard everybody else say, I wanted a celebration of life. I don't need a fancy box because we're all gonna end up as worm food anyways. So why spend that money? How about we have a party and just enjoy the day?
Thomas, you and I are about as much on the same page as two guys with very different experiences could possibly be. I'm sorry that you've had to do that twice, man. That's a hell of a thing to have to sit down and do, but I'm glad that you did it, and I very much appreciate you sharing your story with us. That is just about going to do it for us today. I want to remind you guys, the Fire and Ice Gala is coming up. This is a kickoff for the capital fundraising effort for the Bob Smith Camp Family Neurological Institute. That's going to be a part of Community Medical downtown. If you guys want to know more about that, fcfireandice.com. And one of the things they've been talking about is they've got a surprise entertainment coming up. I can't tell you what it is, but I now know, and it's going to be worth it. fcfireandice.com. And thank you to Katie Zenovich from Community Medical for coming in and sharing a little bit about the Institute and the Fire and Ice Gala. I'm really looking forward to that party. Thank you guys for a lot of interesting and thoughtful phone calls as we got to the fourth hour this afternoon. I really appreciate it. It's an interesting subject, even if it's a little bit morbid. The great one, Mark Levin, is on the way. Before that, of course, we'll get our update from the Fox News team. And before that, we'll hear from our friends at the Valley's Legends and Legacies. The great one, Mark Levin, is on the way. Don't move. There's a lot more to come. I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock right here at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Be safe out there.
Part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Amazon Music or Stitcher.
The Valley's Legends and Legacies are brought to you as a public service by the family of Bill Tatham Sr. for you to experience the value of history as a learning opportunity to inspire your success today and as a spark of your imagination for the future.
Long before the Dancing Raisins took their message